welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV for another match reaction show for you. Chelsea winning again on the night 2-1 up against Brighton, which was a very interesting game again. Good football in parts, in most really. Good defensive displays. Brighton had their chances though at the end. Reece James with an absolutely stupid error. Ridiculous error at the end as well, which again didn't aid or help anyone at the same time. Lots to get into, guys. Lots to roll through. Come and say hello in the chat if you are. Look what I'm wearing. Look what came today, guys. Look what came today. You see it? You see it? Can you see what came today? This is what came today, guys. This is what came today. The new retro auto glass Chelsea t-shirt. I've got it. It looks good. It feels good. It looks good. Guys, do me a favour, smash the like, share it out. We've got a lot to get through today. We've got a new tier maker rating system to do as well. Smash the likes, subscribe if you're new, and let's cue that intro! Yes, people, welcome back to Chelsea Fan TV and GNA TV for another match reaction to the Brighton game. Brighton on the night, 2-1 to Chelsea. And Nkunku is back, getting the goal with his balloon celebration. Cold Palmer with an absolutely unbelievable header as well. We've got the highlights of that game to go through as well, the goals, everything, guys. We're going to be going through that as well. We've got a new tier maker player rating system that we're going to be using as well. I have got the new retro Chelsea black United kit on here, guys. Feels good. It feels snug. Like Couch says, big up Couch. Looks snug. Yeah, it is. It is. It feels good, man. Not going to lie. It feels good. But yeah, guys, keep smashing the like, subscribing, sharing out if you can as well. That would be amazing. Interesting. We just had some breaking news coming. That's why I've gone quiet. And maybe we can start there. Before we get into the game, we're going to go into the game a lot anyway. But let's say hello to people in the chat. Hello, Leo. How you doing? Adele, good to see you as well. Jay Anderson, Cold Palmer. Oh, what a signing, eh? What a signing Cole Palmer has been for Chelsea. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. We have got the panel joining us soon as well in the next sort of half hour or so. But this is the breaking news that we're going to be going into first. Pochettino has support from key figures in the hierarchy ahead of the end of season review. Growing feelings he will stay, and any sacking would require an ominous decision. This came from Jacob Steinberg today from The Guardian. I wonder if we can read some of this. Or is it going to blur? Okay, we can read some of this. So let's quickly go to that for you guys. Keep smashing the like, sharing it out as well. Nearly 50 people in the building already. Good to see you all as well. Pochettino has the support of key figures at Chelsea before the end of the season review. Pochettino has been under pressure for much of his first campaign at Chelsea, but is increasingly strong ground after guiding his young side to a win within touching distance of Europa League qualification, which we know about, the 2-1 win. Prominent figures on the Chelsea hierarchy believe the wisest move would be to keep Pochettino, who joined on a 2-year deal with the club, option of a third. It remains to be seen whether the controlling owners, Todd Bowley, will stick with him. There are indications that some board members are undecided on Pochettino, although a move would need to be an anonymous decision. Bowley and Clearlake, the private equity company managed by Egbali and Jose, would have to sign off the Pochettino exit. The source believes the club were leaning towards sacking. Sources believe the club were leaning towards sacking the 50-year-old a few weeks ago, only for positive results to alter the picture. The uncertainty has had an impact on Pochettino, who has suggested he could decide to leave once next week's review has taken place. He has spoken about wanting more control over signings and has more critical noises about Chelsea sporting directors Winstanley and Stewart. There is a determination Chelsea to ensure Pochettino does not feel undervalued before the review, which would be overseen by Winstanley and Stewart as well. Bowley has praised the team's form, saying Chelsea have played beautiful football during their recent run, and this week spoke about importance of long-term planning. The number one thing is you have to be patient. The American said you're putting something together and expecting it to come together really quickly, and the reality is really good. The reality is anything really good takes a little bit of time, and so I think patience is always a part. The view has also been echoed by others at Chelsea. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, that's the news in and around Pochettino. Bobby, how are you? Good to see you as well. Big up to you. Poch out is what Moosa's saying. Also, can we let him lead signings is what Sean's saying here as well. Keep smashing the likes, guys. Guys over there on Twitter as well. Big up to you. Nice to see you over here as well. Keep smashing the likes as always. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. And let's go to our recent results, because our recent results are pretty good, right? They're pretty tasty. Match week 1. Chelsea 2-1 against Brighton. We're going to be talking about that now. They won against 3-2 against Nottingham Forest, 5-0 against West Ham, and 2-0 against Spurs. You could argue the last 2 games have been a little bit sketchy in terms of how the scoreline looks. But when you look at the overall game, bearing the last couple of minutes of the Brighton game specifically, since Reece James got sent off, there was a lack of control in the game, and that just falls down to going down to 10 men and Brighton imploding the pressure. They got their goal at the near post, which effectively got them back in the game. But we had so many chances to be 3-4-0 up in this game, and incidentally, we didn't take our chances in doing so. And we're going to continue going on with that as well, with the comments here to go on to say Chelsea need a draw at home to Bournemouth to secure 6th. If Spurs lose to Sheffield United, Chelsea could incredibly finish 5th. And that is possible. That is possible, guys. Because when you look at this right now, you can see that Chelsea have now overtaken Newcastle, who lost against Man United last night 3-2. And it now leaves Chelsea in a very good position. 4 wins out of our last 5 games. Look at them green ticks. Only Man City and Arsenal have better form than Chelsea Football Club at the moment. 60 points, 3 ahead of Newcastle and United with 1 game left. We've got a better goal difference than Spurs, by the way. Goal difference is 13 to their 10 at the moment. So we need them to really lose. I know they're playing Sheffield United, and that's going to be very hard to do. You never know. I think Sheffield United are relegated, and they're right at the bottom. They're taking W's all the way. So there's a very slim chance that we're going to actually make 5th, but there is still that opportunity, massive opportunity for that to happen. So let's see what happens in the last game as well. Smash the likes, guys, if you can. Nearly 100 people in the building. We've got lots to go through. We've got goals to look at in a minute. We've got the new tier making, which we're going to be using for next season as well. Tier making match rating system, which is a little bit different to the way that we usually do things as well, guys. So that's going to be something where you're going to like. It's different. It's going to involve a lot more of the panel in discussions as well on the overall players. We need an elite centre back next summer, I agree. And we're going to go through that. Let's go through it. Let's get into it. Let's go. Smash the likes. Conor Gallagher and his comments. What did he say after the game? Well, this is what he said. He said, we've been 10th, 9th. I feel like if we finish 6th, it will be a massive achievement. Considering how tough this season has been with injuries, new players, new manager, it will be a lot of credit to the managing, coaching staff and the players. So Conor Gallagher's trying to turn this around and say that this is a massive success. Well, I wouldn't go as far to say it's a massive success, in my opinion. I'd go as far to say that we're required, as we have been all season, to get Europa League football. This has always been the target. This is why the board are so quiet. This is why the board are not talking. I realise I even got my speaker here. This is why they're not even talking. I'm sitting there thinking, where's my microphone? I'm sitting there talking to you without a microphone. Oh, that was quality. What Mr.'s going in. Mr. Your jokes. You know, at the end of the day, we had a very rocky start to the season. We had a load of injuries, granted. The players weren't performing at a consistent basis, granted. But did the manager also implement not playing a specific system as he has done more recently in the second part of the season? No. So he didn't help. Did he completely set us wrong? Was he playing players out of position? Was he problem solving like he has done the last couple of games? No. So effectively, there's a lot that we can criticize about what we have done in the past, which applies to all of them. Yeah. But the turnaround now is not only just because the players have came back. Granted, the class is there, and I understand that. It's more now to the fact that our manager is now more active. He's being more active, and he's sticking to things, and he's not switching things and overcomplicating things. He's sticking to a system that works. In game, we play different types of systems. Like we went to a three at the back yesterday. Yesterday, we went into a three at the back with Badiashile, Chalobah, Gusto. In the first half, we were trying to play Gusto as inverted and then Kukureya's converted, mixing it around. It didn't really work. So we went back to a three at the back, and he is still sticking to the overall system 4-2-3-1. 4-2-3-1. He's playing attackers. He's allowing us to look very good on the attack. We're looking very good at the back as well. And for me, specifically, because of a large part, because of one player being more consistent than the others, who we're going to talk about in a bit again. And we're now in a position where we look more, the players can stick to a target. They can play games knowing that each and every week we're playing in a specific system that they're able to be competent in, rather than him always switching systems, always asking him to do something different, always making one play out of position. These are all things that he was doing in the past that was affecting us. And we know that these young players are young, so we're not going to get consistency. So that past crap that we went through is why I say it's a problem with all, with the overall, But now we're in a good bit of form and we're moving forward, and it's good to see. And will he stay? I've been saying this. He will stay as long as he gets Europa League football. I have said this for a very long time, and I've been saying this even when people were saying that he needs to go and he needs to be sacked. We want a coach to succeed, but let's not give him tools to do right. That's so right, Sean. Is what Nkunku's saying here. You guys talking in the chat of each other by the looks of it. Guys, do us a favor. It's nearly 100 of you here. Smash the likes, guys. Get the likes up. That's what we want right now. Right, let's get into more little stats. Then we're going to go into the game. Then I'm going to put the link in for the panel, and we're going to do this. We're going to do this overall match rating as well. Player rating, sorry. Big chances creations for this season so far. Chelsea, 121 created chances. Listen, we are creating more than we've ever done under Pochettino. And that is a plus, but that also is, again, down to the recruitment and the players that we have in the team, in my opinion. So when I look at the type of balance and chemistry and what we have now, with effectively Palmer leading most of it, he's the key that kind of makes everything else work in and around it. While we're creating more chances, partly is because we've got better players, in my opinion, than other seasons, attacking wise right now, but also because we're now playing in more of a rigorous system in this second part of the season, which has allowed us to be more effective and create and play into a certain way. And to be creating more than Arsenal, Tottenham, Aston Villa, Man United is a good thing. These are all good stats. Some may say it's a little too late. Do I trust him next season? Listen, if he can carry on in the way that he started, he's playing out the end of the season and how we're progressing slowly, then yeah, fine. Give him the chance. I want to see him with a fully fit squad if we ever get that chance. Yeah, or players not getting red carded like Reece James, which we've had which we had to the other yesterday, which was ridiculous. Which means now he misses not only tomorrow's game but 3 of the games next season because he's got 2 violent conduct red cards, which are ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Do you realistically see us winning a trophy with him? Now, this is the big question, because when I first got asked about Pochettino coming to Chelsea and winning things, I always felt that the bar, as well as we may play under him, we will always get to a specific area and we'll just hit a rock. And that rock is then playing up to the next level and being able to win things. He needs to show that he can do that. I still don't know. I'm not 100% sure that I think he can. I'm not saying he can't, though. I'm not saying he can't. I'm just saying If you look at history and what you've seen of him, no would be the answer. No would be the answer. But, is he going to be given another chance next season? Most probably, because we're going to get Europa League football. Then it's going to be down to recruitment again and pre-season and keeping players fit. And we see how we start at the beginning of next season. Because if we start anywhere the way that we started last season and go through the same sort of shit as we did, he's gone. And I think they will sack him. They will sack him mid-year. They won't wait around. They won't wait around for the next season, I don't think. So there's going to be pressure there on him to make sure that he performs to that level. Now, we're going to talk about individual players quickly, just specific individual players, and then we're going to look at the goals, and then we're going to get the panel in, and then we're going to do all of that. But I want to talk about specifics because some of these players don't get spoke about enough. There's 100 people in here already. Smash the likes, guys. Everyone smash the likes, run it up. I have got the new kit on, by the way. I have got the new... Quickly, before I do that, let me just show off my kit quickly. As 100 people. I have got the new retro kit on, as you can see. The little polo collar here. The little badge right here. There we go. Very nice. The all glass signing around here as well, guys. It is very nice, I'm going to say. Very nice and fitted. Check it out. Chelsea Megastore. £50. It was... You can either get it in white, you can get it in black. I liked it. I purchased it. It's nice, guys. Check it out. Check it out. Now we're going to go on to speaking about specific players. Because it needs to be spoken about. And why people are very, 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 very quiet about specific individuals, which they are. Which they are, by the way. Someone in the name of Moises Caicedo has been performing very well this second half part of the season, most of it anyway. Incidentally, the games where you could say he didn't play well was probably the Arsenal, the one at home where he gave the ball away. I can't remember who that was against and they scored. But overall, with a man being able to put down these type of ratings consistently through each game, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, strong sevens. In many cases, 8.6s, 8.7s, 8.1s, 8.2s. There is no denying that the signing of Moises Caicedo to Chelsea. Hey, go on, Beaker. Go on, Beaker. Let's go. Get it in, bro. Get it in, guys. If you haven't got it in, go and get one. Go and check it out on the Megastore. Effectively, if this guy here has been taking a lot of criticism for this, a big part of what went wrong at the beginning of Chelsea seasons, and it was easy to target him and Enzo because of their price tags. But if you've noticed, incidentally, mostly of this season, no one's talking about Moises Caicedo, and I find it a little bit rude. I find it a little bit rude that now these guys have all gone quiet. They're not saying anything about this guy. Because this guy's laying down 7 out of 10 performances every game at the moment. And yesterday he was a figure again. And I'm telling you, you remove him out of Chelsea, you take him out of our midfield, we're even 10 times worse. And in fact, he actually allows our midfield to be slightly incompetent. Or competent with him in it. Even in this role, which we don't like to, say we don't want to see him in, but we want to see him a bit further up in. He has been very good. He's winning balls. He's moving the balls quickly. He's got the highest blocking percentile in the whole Chelsea team as well. He does make silly tackles. Listen, he does do some outrageous things on the odd occasion, but his overall game is in a season that's been up and down. It's just been unbelievable for me, and he is so good. He is so good and so important to what we're doing right now, and he deserves credit. He deserves applause for what he's doing. Do you know what I mean? No, I don't even think it's that, Musa. It's got nothing to do with it. People keep talking about Enzo now because Enzo's injured. It's not to do with that. It's a lot to do with him. It's a lot to do with the little tweaks we've done in the system, which has aided him and allowed him to be a little bit more effective. And not just that, we're sticking to one system. And to be quite honest with you, we haven't changed much in the way that we play the midfield. Yesterday, the gaps between Gallagher and Caicedo were still there. They were massive. So he hasn't really learned from it. He's still playing Caicedo in that way. It's just that Caicedo is performing at a higher level in this system now. And by the way, he looked a little bit leggy yesterday, but still played quite well, very well, in my opinion. You look at the Gallagher role, the Enzo/Gallagher role that they're playing at the moment. That just looks completely just like a random role. I don't really understand that role of the second midfielder still. That's the one thing I would say. As much as we're playing well going forward, I still don't get the, all right, you want them to press high, but the gaps are just well too big. And like I say, a better team on a better day would still probably, walk through our midfield. And we was getting walked through our midfield slightly to a degree, So we'll just have to see with Caicedo. We're going to do a rating on Caicedo soon as well. Another special mention that I want to give is to Trevor Chalobah, because this guy, and I'm going to say it now. I'm going to say it because everyone knows I've always liked Chalobah anyway, but he cannot be sold. We should not be selling Trevor Chalobah. Trevor Chalobah has been, in my opinion, barring Thiago Silva, our best defender since returning. Consistent, strong, one-on-ones, winning balls on one-on-ones, making the right passes, winning, aerially he's good, understanding his role better. This is all because he's still young. And this is all because he's now getting experience because he's playing more. And the more he's playing, the more in control he looks. That's the right word. In control. And we shouldn't be selling players like Trevor Chalobah. We shouldn't be selling players like Trevor Chalobah. We should be keeping players like Trevor Chalobah. Especially when you look at the defence we've got at the moment. He starts over Disasi. He's actually, in my opinion, in better form than Badia Shil, who he played with next to him. Still looks better, in my opinion, than Badia Shil and Disasi in that role. Thiago Silva won't be here. But does he occupy one of them roles next season? Does he deserve to occupy one of them roles next season? Potentially. If he continues at the way he's playing at the moment, we might not need to buy anymore. We might not need to go out and spend 60 million. I do think we still need to find someone in there to play, but maybe it's the player next to him. And maybe, and this is a big maybe we need to sell one of the ones that we've already bought and wasted money on. Let's be serious. But we shouldn't be selling Trevor Chalobah. We shouldn't be selling Trevor Chalobah. I can't stress it enough. Yeah, it's sad that we're going to sell him when he's probably one of our, if anything, our best defender, barring Thiago Silva when he's gone out the window. At the moment, in form, he's the best. You have Colwill and Fofana. Fofana's played 1/4 of 2 seasons. How long are we going to keep trying this with Fofana? Like, he comes back, for me, he needs to keep himself fit, and he needs to start playing and showing. If he comes back and plays 2-3 games and gets injured again for another 3-4 weeks, get rid of him. Sell him. Even before we sign Fofana, you can roll back the Fofana videos on here. Go back when we talk about Fofana. I was saying back then why I didn't want Fofana for that much. And it's what we're doing, what's happening now. He's a good player, but he's not fucking around. He's not even here. Availability is important, guys. You've got to have availability, right? And then there's this guy, and we're talking about availabilities. It's his first season, but my goodness, this guy is just levels. Levels. When I was crying about how we missed chances in the past games, the finals, the games where we created so much and we ended up not scoring and drawing or losing or whatever happened in the games. And I was reverting back to this, and I kept saying it. I wish he was here. I wish he was here. I wish he was in the team. This guy made us use the left more than I've ever seen us. No offense, Mudryk. We played more down the left for once than we did the right. And we've been playing down the right all season. Because now we have him. And he just, I saw a stat from him yesterday. 100% final third passing. He had, in the whole game, which he played majority of, a big bulk of, he had 100% progressive ball passing in the attacking third, which means every pass he made found his passer. Not once did he give a ball away from an attacking third pass in the whole game. And you know what's even better about him is that not only does he start attacks, but he's understanding of where to position himself in the box when we are in the danger area. He's just levels. He's just levels on Jackson. It's levels on Mudryk. He's levels on Madueke. Him and Palmer are the two that have to start games. And he just needs to stay fit. If we keep him fit, he plays. End of for me. He has to play because he's a killer. Do you know he could have had more goals yesterday if people around him wasn't greedy? And I'm going to say it. Cole Palmer yesterday was greedy because when he created that first transition and played Palmer in, who Palmer made a beautiful run in behind, he plays Palmer in. Palmer's now in front of the defender. He cuts him. He holds himself just outside the box on the edge, waiting for it to come back to him for a shot. Palmer took the shot. Jackson done the same when he should have played him in. There was numbers of times where he could have been played in, and we should be looking to find him. Him and Palmer together is for me is what we need next season. They've got this understanding as well. They do things at their own time. You know, they do things at their own time. They're so controlled. They're so class on the ball. Left foot, right foot with Nkunku. You know, pass around left, right. You know, skipping in and out of players. You know, finding himself in the right positions. And he scored yesterday. And I knew if we found him in the box, he scores because he don't miss. This guy don't. He's a shooter. He's a killer. We've been missing this guy for a very long time. And I'm glad to see this celebration. It's just a shame that it's so late in the season because having him at Burnley draws, Sheffield United draws in the team, in them created moments, he would have scored. I don't care what anyone says. He would have scored. He would have scored. In a bit, Couch. In a bit. I'm just trying to fly through some of this quickly. Right, now the goal. Where are we? 27 minutes. I said I'll drop it in about 35. Give me a moment, bro. Right. My ego is through the roof right now. Yeah, you're coming, Couch. You're coming. Don't worry, you're coming. I'm just going to fly through the goals and then I'm getting you in. All right? Fly through the goals. Actually, do you know what? I'll just get you in now. All right, come in. I'll just get you in now. You're so eager to get in, but you've got to let me go through these before we go to the players. There you go. Link. Link. Come on, then. I didn't know forward has to go back to work at 2 as well. Let's look forward, all right? Before we go into any more, guys, we've got the panel coming on. They're eager. They're hungry. They're hungry. They're eager. They want to get on. They're hungry. They're eager. They want to get on. Come on, then. In the meantime, Mudryk, unfortunately, season for me is over. Thank you for all the messages. I feel myself better. See you next season, Blues, is a part of the game. In it. Well, yeah, he's right. It's a part of the game. But let's not forget about this referee's performance yesterday. Because this referee's performance yesterday was disgusting. How Reece James, who deservedly got a red card for being stupid, got that. And Lamptey didn't even get a yellow card for that. Throwing his body into his face. Look. Throwing his body into his face. His whole head goes backwards. That's how hard he hits him. Look. Bosh. And you can't even tell me he didn't mean to do that. Look. That is... I'm sorry. I was raging yesterday. I was raging. You know? I was raging. Oh, anyway. That was that. Couch. Welcome in. How are you, brother?
Yes. You know how long I've been waiting for this show? You know how long? You know how many months? You know how many weeks? You know how many hours I've been waiting for this show to come on here and be like, yo, what have I been telling you guys? What have I been telling you guys?
What have you been telling you? What's different to what I've said?
What do you mean?
What is it that you've supposedly said that's so different to what I've said in the past?
Bro, I've been saying from time that we're going to finish somewhere in around 6th, 5th, right?
You did?
How long have I been saying that?
You did?
Since the beginning of the year, really.
You did? I remember you saying
Since the beginning of the year. When people were gassing us saying, oh, we should be in the Champions League spots. When people were, down on us, oh, look, Poch out. Look at that. We're 10th or whatever. I stayed true to my predictions. of 5th, 6th. The
Fairs?
clip is there. I put it in the chat. The clip is there for you guys all to behold. It's there.
I don't remember what everyone else's predictions were in that. I'd have to go back and look at it. But yeah, go on.
Well, I can certainly I put it in our chat. So anytime you want to go check it out, verbatim, 5th, 6th, verbatim. And it's just everything that I'm saying is exactly the culmination of what I was saying then. Like, it takes time. Like, these are young players that need time. A brand new squad. How many players did we buy over the last 2 seasons? You know, it takes time for all these things to come together. You can't expect it to just hit the ground running. How many managers have we had? How many different philosophies have we had? You know, it takes time. And you know, I wasn't really a Poch guy myself. I'm firm in that.
We're not over the mountain yet, by the way.
Well, we're right there though. We're right there. We get a point. We're there. You know, and even with that said, I still think that he's done well, given the circumstances. You know, even if we don't, bro, you cannot ignore the injuries now. You cannot. You just said if Nkunku was here,
everything. Yeah, no, I'm just saying I get all that, but you're actually eliminating all of the bad judgments that he's made.
There's not a manager in the world that does not make bad judgments.
You can't ignore what he's done though.
Bro, there's not a manager. I don't even like everything that Jose did when we're winning. I don't like everything that Tuchel did. I don't like everything that Conte did. Ancelotti, like they all have things that we don't see.
What's the difference now, Cal? Let me ask you this: what do you think? Because equally, it's easy for me, and it's what I've been saying even when I was moaning about him back then. All right, what is the difference now to them? Forgetting just the players that have come back. What's different? Tell me.
Well, he's definitely played a more consistent lineup.
What was he doing back then?
Well, what did you expect with 14 injuries?
No, but what was he doing? But that's still irrelevant because he didn't have to play Cucurella right back against Man United when we had no right back and we only had one left back. I'm just giving you examples.
Like I said, there have been many. Every manager that we've had since time has done things. Jose played Azpilicueta as a left winger. You know, like every manager does something that you're like, what is going on here? The bottom line is you have to evaluate the body of the work. Look at the whole season and give it time. How many times were we in the chat and I'm saying we need to give it time? We need to give it time. I
agree with time. Time's massive. I agree with it. But I'm not going to ignore a manager that's experienced that should be making competent decisions and setting us up right and not changing systems consistently on the back of actually us playing well one game and then changing it completely. I'm not going to not call that out when they're doing that.
Yeah, but you understand what I'm saying, but judge the body of the work, right? I understand that every game there's going to be something that we have to call out and be this, that, and the other. And that's the point of being, doing match reviews and whatnot, like looking at what's not working and looking what is working and whatnot. But the bottom line is, and the only reason why I was mousing even back then, I wasn't really saying that much. I was like, listen, we just got to give this thing time. Is because I knew that I was ready to wait for the end of the season to evaluate him.
We had no left back in that game. We had one left back and no right back. Why would you then put your only left back, right back, and give yourself two problems? It makes no sense to me. Like these little things, like if you're already unbalanced, why didn't add another unbalanced issue? That was just one example. Do you know what I mean? But I don't want to just stick to them little intricate things because I want to talk about the good things, and there is good things at the moment. Like there's been some very good things, and one of the big things that he's done so far is what I've been asking him to do for a very long time: is stick to a system, play a system that actually accommodates some work.
The system all the time. We change the system all the time. What you're talking about is having a consistent lineup, and I agree with that. I've been saying that from time, but even a consistent lineup takes health. You need a healthy.
How long have we been playing 4-3-3s for?
What's that?
How long have we been playing 4-3-3s when we didn't need to?
What do you mean? Well, why have we been playing?
Why would we have a 3-man midfield when we could have played 4-2-3-1s earlier?
What? When did we play 4-3-3?
I'm saying with the way that we had Gallagher and Enzo in the team, why play with three midfielders and not play with the Palmer in the 10 and when you've had Maguire and Mudryk on the benches? To what he's doing now. I'm just saying, why did we not do that earlier? These little things that I feel like he could have done earlier.
Yeah, so you're getting Enzo in the team. You're trying to get Enzo in the team, and you're trying to get Caicedo in the team, and you need to support them with somebody that can get around the pitch with Gallagher. It's obvious.
because it's no different to. I mean, yesterday the whole midfield was
Bro,
open again.
like, let's not. Yeah, but we were snuffing them out. Okay, they were definitely getting on the counter and whatnot. But let's not forget, like you're forgetting that, like you love Enzo. I've been saying from day one.
We haven't played Enzo in this
that
system.
Enzo cannot cover the midfield. He's
We've
not
not played Enzo in this system.
What's that?
There's a big difference to what we've done now, Couch, to what we've been playing months ago.
Yeah. So a lot of what we were doing.
Why are we not talking about that? Why are we just acting like he's just?
You're not even letting me explain it. You're not even letting me explain it. You're yeah. So like the reason why we were trying to play with Gallagher in the number 10 is to compensate for what Enzo was doing off the ball. He's not covering spaces very well. He's the guy that gets dribbled past all the time. He's the guy that's not. You're giving me the look like you don't understand that. You've never seen that before.
Why did it take so long not to again?
Why did it take so long for Enzo to leave the game? A long time. Yeah, he's been injured.
Caicedo thing. Why didn't he invert Correa earlier? Because that's the big difference.
What? And you were calling that from when? When did you start seeing that? When did you call Cucurella should be inverted?
Since the Aston Villa second half. No, I'm saying I didn't call it. I said why?
No. So you're saying why didn't he do that? Like, yeah. So that's a solution that he came up with. That's a solution that he came to as the season evolved.
Yeah, that I can play Cucurella there. That's what I'm saying to you, but it's different from now to then. There's differences
from now to then. Yeah. So the season evolves and grows. You're presented with problems and you create new solutions for them.
Great, and I'm glad he's done that.
Okay, so that's what we're talking about. That's exactly what we're talking about. He's done a good job.
Yeah, but you just came on and said, "Oh, if he'd have had the players, then we wouldn't have. It would have just been."
Yes. If Nkunku would have been here at the beginning of the season, you're telling me that we would have been scoring goals and we wouldn't have been winning those games at the beginning of the year?
One specific games, yes, specific games. So, but it doesn't change the fact of how the system was originally set up.
Bro, since Christmas, we were a top 4 side. How do you explain that?
Since Christmas, we've been a top 4 side. Yeah, and some of them games. No, that's fine. But guess what? Yeah, the ones like Luton away when we were all 2-0 up, and we just about.
We're not going to win every game. This is a young team. This is a young team that still has to figure things out. It's not all on the shoulders of the manager. These are young players. They have to learn how to win these types of games, and they haven't learned that until now.
I agree. I'm not trying to dig a hole on the positivity that we're on at the moment. All I'm saying is it's easy for people that are very happy and fond of Poch to ignore that he had made mistakes with the systems and setups in the past, which also led to the inconsistency of our performances.
Nobody's saying that he doesn't make mistakes.
What he's doing now, because what he's doing now is more just being more competent.
So what you're saying is you want an infallible manager. You want somebody that just does not make mistakes and does not make poor decisions.
No, I want a manager. No. Managers can make mistakes. Managers can make mistakes. But we were in the mud. We were in the trenches back then. How many times have we come in on this show talking about how bad our football was? No game plan, no strategy.
And how many times was I saying like we have like about 10 to 15 injuries right now, and it's infecting how we can play. But it's not just the but that's a factor.
This is the
like look at but a few weeks ago we were on here talking about how that the injuries, the players that are injured right now would beat the team that is actually going to play right now.
No,
you remember that, right? Yes, you remember that, right?
The quality of players is important. Yes, because having Nkunku and Reece James and all of them, 100%. We would have probably won more games, 100%. I agree with you. But it doesn't ignore the fact that an experienced manager has come in and not shown in matches, in big parts, chunks of this season, experience in moments where he should be getting the best out of what he had. And we're
talking about the beginning of the season. It was like since Christmas we're 4th, right? And if anyone at the beginning of the season would have said we're finishing 4th, you would have if I would have told you that we'd finish 4th this year, you would have snapped my hand off. I'm like, yes, we're moving in the right direction. So
by the way, I've always said that if we get to Europa League football, he stays, and he's doing that. So I'm happy for him to go on to next season if he's going to continue with what we're doing right now.
Of course,
we can't go back to what we did last season at the beginning of this season, though, going into next. He needs to show.
There's no denying that he has his warts. There's things that I don't like about how. Like I've even come out and said like the one time I wavered, I was like, I don't want this guy here because I just don't like his football. I can't remember what game it was, but I remember saying that much. Yeah. And to be honest, he's changed my opinion based on the fact that like we're playing good football, right? Yeah. We're finding form at the right time of the season.
I agree.
And For me, maybe for me it was different because I was never really of the opinion that we should finish in the top 4 anyways. I was always saying 6th. I was always saying 6th. I'm talking preseason, I was saying 6th. And it's come to fruition right now. Like, we're there right now.
Right? I just think we should have been a top 6 team, and we're in it now. We're 6th now. So at the end of the day, you know,
he's done a good job.
It's what it is.
Especially managing, navigate. Yeah, over the course of the season, he's done a good job. And navigating all of those injuries and getting to where he has right now is a commendable position to be in. Because you can't tell me any other manager that had to deal with losing all the players that we've had, the key players that we've had, and finished where we have right now, wouldn't be getting like all sorts of plaudits. It's the fact that we went through the whole season, a big part of the season, just hating on him. Like, wow, look, he's playing Colwell at left back, and he's playing Chilwell.
This is my problem here. This is where my problem comes with it, because now you're saying that we can't criticize him for what we see.
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that that's where we stayed. We stayed in that opinion for so long that it's hard to divorce ourselves.
That was because we was in that opinion for so long. It was a rut.
Let's keep in mind, a lot of things have changed since Christmas.
Yeah, and I agree. So
but we stayed with that same opinion. We stayed with that same opinion though throughout the entire time, regardless of how the results were coming.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. We turned the corner. Like, I'm happy. I want us to win. You know, like I think we all want to win, right? We're Chelsea fans. Like, I want him to be successful and win a trophy and this, that, and the other, and whatever. Yes, because we're winning. Like, I don't care how we win, just win. But it's let's get forwarding because he's got to go. I think he's going soon. I think forward.
Is he gone? I thought he would have been jumping in from time.
Ads. Let me call him Ads first, so he starts moaning.
That's £100 now, man. That must be £100.
Yeah, we're definitely in trouble with this for that. But no, I'm here. I'm just doing a little bit of work in the background, but listening to you lot. And funnily enough, listening to you guys, I thought we were coming off a loss. The way you guys are going at it, to be honest. But no, I get it. It's cool. But I get it. Like, it's good to have these numerous conversations because obviously we want to take into account things we were saying before. We don't want to be overly happy or like over the top with praise, and we don't want to be too down when we were in the dumps because obviously people like Couch are trying to make a point of that. We were doing badly in terms of results and all of that, but there were obviously reasons to be patient, and some of us agreed with what he was saying, and some of us obviously disagreed on other things. But again, not to recap everything that you guys said, all I'm going to say is we're in a better place now. I think we were all entitled to criticize and be frustrated at what Poch was doing and what he wasn't doing, which contributed to why we were 11th and 12th in the table for so much of the season. But he's changed things, and things have changed based on players coming back as well. Players coming into better form as well. But also Poch has, I think, felt the pressure or the fact that his job's going to be on the line and he'll probably be sacked. I think he's felt that pressure and he's done things that we were calling for him to do during the season. Now, Couchy asked Jem if Jem was saying that, I wanted to see Cucurella invert during the season. Now, maybe Jem didn't say that. But I can tell you for free that I was saying that. I was saying, let me see some inverted fullbacks. Let me see some of the other stuff that we were doing during pre-season. And it didn't make sense to me why we weren't seeing those things. So, of course, if I don't see him doing the things that I think we should be doing, I want him to be sacked, but I don't want him to be here anymore because he's not doing the things that I think he should do. But he's gone and done some of those things, and they've contributed to us being better. Of course, players have come back, players have come into good form. Another big thing, as well as Cucurella inverting, is also Palmer moving into the 10. And I think that's added so much to our game. Again, having somebody like that who can operate in the pocket and also having an extra attacking threat on the wing. So I think a lot of these things have culminated in us hitting into better form. And you look at the Forest game, for example, we played pretty well, but we were down 2-1. And honestly, we probably lose that game if we have the same squad that we had a few months back. But because we could call upon the likes of Nkunku, Reece James, we can change the game and we can win it just through individual quality. So all these things have helped us to be in a position now where we can finish 6th, maybe even 5th, which should actually be a pretty good return. It doesn't necessarily change the fact that we were in the dumps for so long of the season, but at the end of the day, the table doesn't lie. And if you end up being 5th or 6th, it ends up being a pretty decent season. And it's where like a lot of us would have accepted being. I was thinking, could we maybe get 4th or 5th? I ended up predicting that we finished 5th. But yeah, if we get 6th, given where we've been, obviously I didn't foresee these injuries. Nobody saw these injuries coming. So if we end up in 6th, I can't really hate on what Poch has done, looking at it overall in terms of the season.
And let's not forget, we had Cup final and Cup semi-final to go with that, along with all those injuries as well.
Yeah,
so
it's
been a solid season.
Well, by the way, we actually played well in parts of that. I mean, the second half of the Liverpool Cup game, we played well. We should have won the game.
We should have won that game.
And frustrating on the players, and also you can also say Poch could have done things better in those games as well. But also the players also missed some big chances. Gallagher missed some sitters. Jackson against City missed some sitters. So very frustrating, and honestly, very fine margins. In another season, we could actually be leaving with 2 cups and like maybe 5th place, or 4th place maybe, because Aston Villa aren't that great. So it's crazy how things worked out. But in the end, looking back in it, no, it's a decent season. It's decent given where we were.
Yeah, let's move away from Poch for a second and get back to the game, and then we're going to do the tier-making player rating system as well that we've got set up as well. I want to quickly just have a look at the goals. Gallagher off the left, which we saw quite a lot of yesterday, filling in the holes. I think Madrid was kind of playing more of like an inverted left as well, if you watched him yesterday. The ball gets played into Nkunku, and one thing I've not seen Nkunku ever do much of is this: play a good ball in the box, because that is a very good ball. Very good ball, and that for me. That is a world-class finish, guys. What do you think? Absolutely world-class finish from Cole Palmer. To be able to direct that header like that.
Oh,
by the way, he's running. He's running, by the way. Look, he's running. He's not even standing still, by the way. He's running into that ball. The way he puts that into the top corner is just, cold. There you go.
Yeah, it's a beautiful goal. It's a cold celebration. I love the goal. And it was a good rotation. Like Mudryk was mainly like a left winger during the game, but I think what I liked about what he'd been doing a lot recently and in this game is that there was actual rotations. There was some variety to how we were building up and how we were attacking in the final third. And we rotated well. Gallagher plays a nice little ball into Cucurella, and like on the run, the fact that he pulled off that cross, like he doesn't really do that a lot. So that's why I was super impressed with him in that moment. And then the header itself on the run, cushioning it over the keeper. It's just a beautiful goal. Like it was great to see. Yeah,
it's a great
awesome. And again, for all the people that say, "Oh, he's only scoring penalties and blah blah blah," look at that. Shove that down your pipe, bro. Header over the keeper.
All different arrays. He's got 2 hat tricks, by the way, as well. Not forget. Do you know what I mean?
This guy's on a different level. And like, as much as I'm on my ego right now, and I've been like, I'm sky high right now. I have to admit, I was like, yo, 45 million for this brother. I was not having it. Not having it. And
I remember
100% eating my words right now. I'm not the only one, but I'm not calling anybody.
I wasn't sure, by the way. I wasn't sure. I was a bit like, what we doing? Like,
I'm gonna remind folks that I was sure. I said that we're paying a bit over the top, but trust me, this guy, he's serious. He's gonna have a good season. Not this good, but he's a quality player.
Nobody could have predicted these numbers. Nobody. He's definitely exceeded everyone's expectations without question.
Right. Something that you probably didn't know.
But we were crying out for a player like him to come into the team, though. No, that's for sure.
Yeah. So the Nkunku goal. Now we're going to talk about Poch ball, okay? Which Couch is going to love. Look, rub his hands. Yes, Poch ball. Here we go. You ready? So here we go. All right. So this is how many passes we kept. I'm going to have to speed it up a bit because there's a lot that goes on. So this is the game. All right. So 4 passes there. Gallagher gets the ball, gives it to Caicedo, that's 5. Off the right, 6. Gusto to Madueke, 7. Back to Gusto, blah, blah, blah. Back and forwards, like controlling it, waiting, whatever. Get to 12, 13 passes. We get to the middle. Again, if you watch that run there from Gusto, that's like he's gone into that inverted run and realised Cucurella's there, if you've noticed. Look. Gone back, Chalaba, goes back. We go back to goal here. This is something we do a lot of. We kind of, the way that I see with the Poch, the way we've been playing in more recent games is that we try and pull the opposition towards us to create the space in between. Yeah. So we kind of just like hold it for as long as we can. I mean, that was a great ball from Badiachil, by the way. Dinked over the top to Gallagher. So he turns here and now we're on the break, right? He's got the space. The space has been found down the wing. That's at 17 passes. So we get down the wing. I think Gallagher plays Nkunku in, who makes the run off the left. He then cuts back. And by the way, he scores at the end of this, goes back to Gallagher. And then we work our way round. So it kind of goes back to Gallagher. Gallagher goes back to the defence. And we always seem to go back to the defence to then switch to the other side rather than go from midfield and try and switch it from the other side, which is what maybe Enzo would do. And this is the difference, I think, with Enzo in there. Maybe he would look up and play that like 30-yard ball over it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you're trying to create space though too. Don't forget that, right? Like, you're trying to pull midfielders to attracting to the ball. So when you pull it back to the defenders, you're making the pitch bigger. You know, you're making the pitch bigger and opening up gaps.
So this is the bit where we score. So it gets to Chalaba, who is just, we're going to talk about him in a bit. Then Gusto. And then Madueke gets the ball.
Very good link up there,
Gusto's on the move, And we've seen a lot of this season between them two, where Gusto makes the run behind. He gets into this position. And watch, this is the big difference for me. And this is why we all agree that if we just had Nkunku in games in the past with his killer movement, he puts Lamptey on the floor. By the way, look, Lamptey looks around and look at his inverted movement there, cuts inside, and by the time Lamptey can recover, look, he's gone. He's absolutely done him, like just with that like understanding of his movement. Gusto finds him, and then it's just a cool, calm, and once you find him in the box, 9 times out of 10 he scores. He just does. It's just a good.
The movement makes that goal. Can you highlight Gabriel's last thing there?
Gabriel, where is he? This one.
Yeah.
Those for that's for
just one more ego thing, because I'll leave it alone after this. But I'm pretty sure I said many times, we're like, we don't even have a style of play. What are we doing? What are we doing? And I'm like, there's no way that we don't have a style of play. Whether or not it's reaching its apex is another thing. But no player in a team would be would be playing for a team that has no style of play. They'd be going to their managers, they'd be going to their agents, they'd be going to the directors and saying, like, what is this manager doing right now? So there's no way that was ever plausible for me. And I remember it was all over like socials. Oh, we don't have a style of play. Look at how shit we look, and this, that, and the other. Yes, it doesn't always come off, but don't say that we don't have a style of play. That's silly to me.
Can I piggyback off that point? Can I piggyback? Because like I do remember you mentioning that a lot in streams in the past, and I would always say it I would always say that I agree that obviously there's no way we don't have a style. Again, this is the elite level of football. These guys are paid millions. They're not going to have no style. And I would even say, pointing back to earlier in the season when we were playing well, and we were top of the XG table, and it was just a case of us missing a lot of chances and being punished in transition. So of course we always had the style. My thing was just, did we have enough set patterns? Like, were there things that we were doing that just weren't effective, and why didn't we change those things? And again, it's all culminated in us having this great run of form to end the season, and Poch has done a lot of things well, coinciding with players coming back. So again, the manager certainly deserves his credit and his flowers for what we're seeing right now. It's fair share of flowers. Of course, it's not all on him, but when things go well, we have to give him his credit.
For me, it's the execution and it's the instruction, which is different as well. And I get that maybe time is needed for the players to understand or maybe play to the level of what we're seeing now. And I get that. And maybe, like you said, time maybe was needed to be given. Arguably, I still think that there was little bits to the way that we play now that's different to how it was then, still, in my opinion.
Sure.
And it might be me just being a bit picky, but that's the way I am.
It's a fact. It's a fact. But it comes down to the fact that, like, as the season goes on, you evolve your style of play. And maybe he's come to it now where we're like, okay, fine. We have enough players that can execute what I truly want, or the opposite, like, I have to adjust the way I want to play to accommodate the players that I have.
That was 28 passes, guys. 28.
Can I just add very quickly though? Like, again, you're right, Jim, when you mentioned like there's the plan, which obviously comes from the manager, the instruction, and then there's the execution, which comes down to the players. And again, part of the execution, you also have to criticize Poch for, in a sense, because again, Disasi can't execute what Gusto did in that move, right? He can't do that. But then you were playing Disasi in that position. Some of that is down to injuries, of course. Some of that is down to him just deciding to put him there, or putting Chilwell at left wing. He probably wouldn't be in a position to score like that. Maybe Mudryk wouldn't have either. But of course, having Nkunku there, again, Poch can't control if Nkunku's fit or not. I know, so you can't control what Nkunku will do on the pitch, but if Nkunku's fit, of course, he plays him, and his execution is as good as anybody in the team.
And by the way, we actually use our left. This is the first time we've used our left so much because we've got a player that's just like, it was so good to watch when he was on the pitch. He's moving. We're going to talk about him more in the
Lost your mic again. Where's your mic?
Yeah, your mic's gone a bit far.
I was going to quickly promote the Chelsea retro shirt that I've got on. As you can see, guys, I've got a nice little Chelsea logo.
I'm not going to lie, that looks fire, bro.
Like only 50 quid, guys, as well. I thought it'd be
more. Is there a button on the neck?
There's no button on the neck. No, it's just like a
That's
elastic.
fire.
But it's.
I wasn't gonna I heard they sold out though, eh?
Are they? I don't know. I've not looked. But if go and check, guys. There's white and there's black as well. I think the black looks nice. The white's probably as nice as well. But this is our new player rating system, guys. This is how we're going to be going into player ratings next season as well. Big up to ads on spotting this. Actually, this is quite a good way of being able to open it up rather than ask you individually, we open it up on the players and we decide where we believe they finish. And I'll put in Bozo because Bozo is one of my favourite words most of the season on some of these players in their performances. Bozo time, poor, average, above average. And then I've just put too cold for this season because it's just, too cold. So we're going to start with Petrovic, and I'm just going to open it up and say to you guys, again, I'll go to Couch. Couch, what was your thoughts on Petrovic's performance yesterday? Do you feel he was tested enough?
No, I don't think they had a shot on target till like late in the second half, right? But
yeah,
I judge him more so than on his saves. I look at his distribution. I look at like whether or not he's moving the ball quickly enough. And I still think he was pretty good yesterday, regardless of not having been tested. I thought that he found his passes quite well and was able to bypass that first line of the press, which is ultimately the most important thing that you need your keeper to do when he's supposed to be playing with his feet. You want to see him bypass that first line, find those rangy passes out to the flanks that can get guys into the second phase. And he did a good job of that yesterday. So I would say average because he wasn't really called on to do anything crazy.
What are you saying, forward? Ads?
It's another £5. It's another £5. But no, I completely agree with Couch. Completely agree. Wasn't tested that much. Even from corners, I having to like come and claim things, not too much. But what we've talked about a lot with him is his distribution, and I thought it was actually pretty flawless, to be honest. Which is not what we always say for Petrovic. Again, playing it short at the back, which is fine. Like again, some basic stuff they had to do, but you still have to be comfortable and just doing that. But I think what we would see a lot of earlier in the season is he would try and clip it to the wings of it, especially like the left side, and it would just always go for it, or always be overhit, not at the right height or weight. But a lot of times whether it was Gallagher out there or Cucurella out there or Modric or Nkunku out there, he would clip it at the right pace. And we would start attacks from that. So again, not too much to really report on for today or for yesterday's performance, but average, and he's improving, which is good.
Yeah,
I actually thought he played some. It was a good pass actually that he played out to. I think it was Gallagher actually off the left. He got the ball, and I was like, "Oh God, here we go. He's got to get rid of it quickly," because they weren't pressing him. By the way, Brighton. Every time he got the ball, they were on him. They were like, "Chase it down, chase it down, chase it down," and he played some good balls out for once. And even he's come out and said, Petrovic, earlier in the season, what I need to practice on is my distribution. He's even admitted it. He's like, I'm not great with my feet. He's like, I need to work on that. And do you know what? I like that because at least he knows. Do you know what I mean? That he needs to work on that, and he knows. But everything else to his game, like I think he's a solid saver, like shot stopper. He just is for me. Like he seems to just do a lot of the things. Like when Keba's in goal, I have a heart attack all the time. I don't have a heart attack anymore with him in goal. He's had these moments, but I don't have that with Petrovic. Even from corners, I think he's improved slightly in his position, but I still think we defend corners crap personally. But I think average is about right. Now, what about the Cucurella hive? Is it back? Are we alive? Is it Cucurella time? Are we saying he deserves to stay and he's maybe our left back for next season? I actually thought he was pretty good yesterday. Be quite honest.
I mean, I'll maybe go first on it because I remember saying I don't like the guy as a footballer not too long ago, and I still relatively stand by that. But no, I have to give him his credit and say he was very, very good. Very, very good. And again, I was saying for a lot of the season that listen, I don't rate him too highly, but invert him, please, because that's where that's where his football would shine the most. Again, Pep wanted this guy for a reason, and that was not to play as a natural winger or a natural left back, I should say. He was going to use him to invert like he did with Zinchenko. But no, he was very good. Obviously, the assist we talked about, very good assist, good inverting, like sharp. With his like ball progression, like so he wasn't as safe at times with the ball. Like he was taking time to sometimes drive with it and link up, whether it was with Caicedo or Gallagher. Honestly, like in terms of what he did well, you could actually make an argument for him to being too cold because I thought he was very, very good. But defensively, at times, while he did make some good interventions and some good tackles, there was one intervention where like he saved Chalobah against João Pedro, which is a very good tackle. However, the amount of time and space he would give someone like a Lamptey or an Adingra out wide to just whipping across was too much. Like he would defend so narrow at times, and it's just very frustrating because that he does it purposely because he hasn't got that recovery pace and he's kind of scared to engage early. But you need to engage early because you don't see that happen to Gusto or Reece James on the other side happen too much. So for me, that happened a bit too much. So I have, and also then even like Adingra hitting the post, a couple of crosses that went over his head was a bit sloppy. So I have to put him down to just above average. But no, he did have a very good game, and I've always said that he's my left back for next season ahead of Chilwell. Like I still want to sign a left back, but of the two, I would keep him because he offers just way more for how we want to play. So this was just further proof of it. He had another very good performance.
Yeah. There's not much I can say outside of what you just said, Ads. You basically highlighted the exact same points I was going to highlight. I don't know if it's necessarily about him not yeah. Like I don't know if it's necessarily about like him. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, he's talking. You talking, Couch?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I was just saying quickly that I don't know if it's because he's defending really, really narrow. He gave like the wingers and the fullbacks all sorts of space to come onto the ball and make decisions on the ball without closing it. And I wonder if that's just down to tactics. Like, do we actually play that narrow defensively? Because like it was throughout the game, he was leaving that flank wide open, right? Like just acres of space. And I'm wondering if it has more to do with just how we defend, how we choose to defend that flank, because he can't be doing that time and time again without having, receiving some sort of reprimand from the on-field captain, from the other defenders, the goaltender, and of course the manager. So I'm thinking it might just be down to tactics. So overall, I just think that it might be, he was an average, above average kind of player. He did make that one crucial cross to find the head of Cole Palmer, so that can't be ignored. So above average is about right.
He was getting booed most of the game by Brighton fans. I thought he stepped up. I thought he played quite well. I agree with moments in the defensive aspects. But at the same time, I just don't think he wanted to just go. We criticise him a lot for going in too early on tackles, and then he gets caught, and then he leaves a massive cut behind him. And I'd rather him sometimes be a little bit more reserved and maybe just try and like do a bit of an Aspilicueta, if that makes sense, and like just stand off and then like judge his tackles, if that makes sense in many ways.
But what you're saying, he still does though. Like let's say like a striker receives it back to goal, like he will still go out and like hunt them down and like press them aggressively, which is fine. Obviously, in wide areas, then he's just almost the opposite. He's just too passive, and I feel like he needs to try and find that right balance.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm going to go with above average as well. Badia, man, what are we saying for him? Because I don't think he was bad. I thought he was okay next to Chalobah. Even Chalobah seemed to be quite an okay pair, to be fair. He has his moments. So still, I feel like he just moves like a trap for me a little bit in moments. I don't know if I'm just being harsh again, but like there's little moments where like his body just doesn't move across quick enough. And I'm like, bro, you just like, you can see that they're driving into that space. Like you're not there. Like you're nowhere near it, And there's like the goal, for example. Was it him that got caught, or was it Chalobah? I can't remember.
It was him that let the guy get ahead of him.
Yeah, he let the guy get ahead of him, and it's like again, I don't really just blame him. I kind of blame it on like most of our players from like even set pieces and that. We seem to just ball watch a lot. Like
he's a ball watcher for sure.
We're not aware of what's around. It's like be aware of danger. The best defenders are always aware of what's around them, danger-wise. Like this is why I'm so stuck in the middle of the defense. That defense has let me down a little bit this season, and I'm just like, even then, I was like,
61 goals. Of course, they let you down. 61 goals conceded.
Yeah, it's not good enough, And like, I don't know. Like, I don't think it was bad. By the way, I'm not sitting there slagging him off again or anything. I just want more from him still. Like, I watched Chalobah yesterday, and I'm like, yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's holding his position. Like, we're gonna get to it, but Badia Shield, I'm like, could someone come in and take his position right now? If fit, Colwill, Fofana, whoever, probably. That's how I feel when I'm watching,
Yeah, I was just gonna say he's a ball watcher. Like, and that's exactly what I don't want in my defenders. I don't want anyone that's like looking around like, oh, what should I be doing right now? Seems like he takes a long time to assess danger, and that is a big problem for me. Big problem for me in a defender. Nice on the ball, pretty good range of passes, and composed and whatnot. But I'm sorry, man. When you're in that box, you have to be razor sharp, and he just seems to be a step slow or a step behind the play, which is basically why they scored. He just let Welbeck get the march on him. But there was another instance in that game where the ball's just right inside the 6 almost, and he's just standing there looking around. I'm like, what are you doing, man? Like, what are you doing? It's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said, I really think that if you play him next to a boss, he'll probably be all right. But he wouldn't be my first choice to play next to the boss. He wouldn't be my first choice. That's for sure.
I agree.
Yeah,
in
no,
forward.
I agree with you guys. I agree. That's another £5. I agree. It's like it's frustrating with Badia, the mistake at the end, because like I was gonna push for maybe being an above average, but that mistake for the goal is just it let them down. Obviously, getting the clean sheet. He's also catch you make the point about the other cross that he was kind of ball watching, and that was again where Cucurella was a bit slow to get out. Adingra, or maybe it was Lamptey that whipped it in, and then I believe it was Gross who had the shot. And like we've been watching Chelsea for 15, 20 plus years, like, and we would know that John Terry in that near post position, he always
Oh,
snuffs out the
great.
danger. Always
Stopper.
snuffs out
He's
the
a
danger.
stopper.
Like he was
Yeah,
so elite at doing that, and just Vardy in that situation, like I just look at him, he just didn't read the danger. That the fact that the cross was going to come in behind you, it wasn't going to be a cutback at that point. It was clearly going to be a cross behind you, and you just have to read that. You just have to read that. But see, that was frustrating, and I guess because of things like that, he has to be an average. But I will still say I was impressed. I was still seeing a lot of really good things. We won a lot of headers in when they did go longer from set pieces, which was good, and we obviously need that. And then on the ball, playing out from the back, a lot of very good passes. A lot of very good passes again. So yeah, I'm happy with him. We're seeing more of the form that we saw last season, where people were kind of raving a lot about him, maybe doing a little bit too much because they wanted to really drive home that he's better than Koulibaly. But yeah, no, ultimately, yeah, I agree with what Couch is saying. As much as I maybe rate him higher than what Couch does, I can't ignore the fact that would I want to play him next to a boss because he needs that? No, I think there's better centre backs that we have, and I think certainly Cole is better for me.
I mean, don't let Donny do that because you think we're slagging him off again and hate him off it. Jesus. Anyway,
Don is like the autocorrector. Like he overcorrects. Like every time, like because I'm like, yeah, I don't like this Badia Shield guy, and it's like every time he makes a good play, I hear about it.
he'll go, I've got receipts. You didn't like him. I told you this is what happens. I'm like, Jesus,
like,
bro.
it's like overcorrection, man. Like, okay, he's okay, but he's not my guy. Simple, you know.
Let's talk about what. Listen, we ain't selling this guy. I'm sorry.
Nah.
Do you know what?
Nah. He almost.
I'm doing this.
Cucurella saved him. Cucurella saved him.
I'm doing this. No. I'm doing this. This guy is continuously consistent. His positional awareness is better than most of the defenders. Disassi, Badia Shields. He's snuffing out. He's passing off with the ball. He's quite good in the air as well. Like he's not bad and like defensively. I think sometimes he's reading of the games better by a mile for me. He's reading the games better by a mile. Yeah, he had that one bad moment. And he does have that little moment in him sometimes. But when you look again at his overall, since yesterday and the games before, he's still, for me, the only defender that holds a position in that defense right now, for me, in his performance, in consistency.
Yeah,
and he deserves it, man.
Oh,
I like Chalobah, man. I've liked Chalobah for a long time.
I haven't seen enough this season to say one way or the other, but like no doubt about it, the last stretch of games that he's been playing, he's been excellent. There's no denying that. And like not only just his defensive the structure that he keeps and whatnot and his awareness, but he's also telling other people where they need to be on the pitch, which I also like.
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate a guy that's like, no, you need to be there. You need to be there, and he's dictating where people need to be, and they're listening too. So
and he loves the Chelsea man.
Sorry,
we see his tweets all the time. He loves the Chelsea man.
Of course,
he
man.
goes, "This is my fucking club." You know, I want that passion. You know, he's come from the academy. If we're going to keep someone, he should be the one that we keep. And he's going to get sold most probably, and it's going to really piss me off.
I don't think he's going to get sold. They sold Cobham, remember? They sold Cobham to keep Chalobah. But I actually think he's this last stretch of games here have given him a new life at the club, and I'd also say that before I can anoint him the deputy to whoever our sheriff's going to be, I just need to see it for longer. You know, it hasn't been long enough. I really feel like he has to just be able to snuff out the errors of his game, like that we've seen in the past. Like, I mean, crucial errors that lead to goals, crucial errors that lead to penalties and stuff like that. If he can snuff that out of his game for a consistent period of time, then without doubt,
he hasn't done that for a while, though.
No, well, what's a while? What is a while? You know, like.
I mean,
he's only really just come back from injury.
I feel like we're very critical of him, like very critical of his little moments.
Of course, I'm critical of all our players. My name is Couch Critic. You forget?
Listen, I just think between him, Badiashile, and Disassi, he's better than the two of them for me, from what I've seen. my
Yeah, I
opinion.
mean, I don't think that there's much difference between them. I just think that when he puts it all together, he looks more polished than the other guys, but he still has mistakes in him, and that's why I need to see him
All right,
longer before I can
I'll
go
put him
on.
above average then. I just got a bit excited, didn't it? Because I like Chalobah. Adds what you're saying. Chalobah, our best defender, Byron Silva.
At the moment, yeah, with Colwell out, Fofana in Azkaban, yeah, I think he's the next up. But for me, honestly, I was gonna push very hard for him to be in too cold. I'll be honest. I thought he was very, very good yesterday. Very good.
He's
And then
coming.
winning, yeah, he's improved a lot in the air, which is saying a lot because under Tuchel, remember he would head
True.
things that are at knee height. He would try and kick things that are at shoulder height. It just didn't really make sense. But he's becoming more complete. And I feel like where he has the edge over Disasi and Badiashile is just experience. He just feels a lot more comfortable in a Chelsea shirt. And again, I've been saying it for ages with this guy is that you have guys like Nacho Fernandez at Real Madrid. Just plenty of examples of guys who were homegrown and were just doing a job for their club that they loved, and they can maybe get that extra 5-10% out of them. I'm going to go into another one of those guys in our midfield as well. But with Chalobah, I just feel like you want to keep players like this because he gets what it means to be at this club. He will keep the standards high, and you can see he's growing his personality and his character on the pitch, becoming a little bit of a leader, certainly a big voice. I think it's something that you can say he's becoming that in the team. So it's good. And yeah, I think other than that one moment where João Pedro kind of cooked him, and that can happen because he's a very good striker, to be honest. And then Cucurella kind of bailed him out, but at least in that moment, he didn't like lose it completely. He still put enough of his body weight in there, so like João Pedro was a bit slower, and then Cucu could come on and save. But I mean, other than that, he was strong in defense, made a lot of good tackles, a lot of good clearances. Honestly, like very, very, very good performance. So I probably would have given him like an 8.5 or a 9, which for me puts him in too cold. So he's got to stay.
Let's go. Chalobah in too cold, guys. Do you agree? Do you disagree in the chat? Make sure you're smashing the likes, guys. There's over 200 people on here now with Twitter watching us as well. Twitter, GNA TV, and Chelsea Fan TV all watching in right now, guys. Keep tapping, keep sharing.
Just to add quickly, I don't know if I mentioned his ball playing, but like his ball playing, bro, like so good, so good yesterday.
Good, very good. I agree. All right, I'll start the most of these, but I'm gonna put Gusto average yesterday. I've seen better performance of him throughout the season. I feel, even though he set up the Nkunku goal, which was a very good run, I think he had a good game. I don't think he had a bad game, and I don't think he had a proper Gusto game. And when I say proper Gusto game, I mean just everything, if that makes sense. Everything just at the top of his game from what we've seen of him most season. I just thought he was just okay. There was moments where he struggled up against that winger off the left. He kept giving him. Yeah, that guy. He kept giving us problems, and he had a couple of shots recutting inside, and he got that little bit of space on Gusto in the first half, and was like, I was getting a little bit worried. I was like, "Come on, Gusto, you're better than this, man. Deal with it. Like, come on." And I actually thought he got better in the second half. And obviously, like I said, he led up to the goal. One thing I like about Gusto is his energy up and down the pitch. You know he's going to give you that. He will overlap. He'll make space. He'll run into space, and he'll get back, and he will try and defend as quickly as possible as well. It's just it wasn't a vintage, full, unbelievable Gusto performance, which I'm used to seeing. And that's because I put him on a high. I put him quite high because I actually think there's a very, 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 very good player in him, to be quite honest with you. And for his age, I think he's only going to get better if he can keep his fitness up and stuff like that. So I wouldn't say he was some people saying he was poor, but I'm going to say he was average for me.
Yeah, I mean, you got the assist. Like, you can't call him poor. The vision that it takes to. Can you guys hear me okay, by the way? I had to switch my pieces. Okay, yeah. So I wouldn't say he was poor. I think that when you involve him more in the game early, you see the best of him. Like when we weren't really looking to build down the right in the first half, I found I felt like we're looking more towards the left side throughout the game. And yeah, I don't think that, the Adingra thing, yeah, you're right. But Jem, I've been saying, I can't tell you how long now. I've been telling you that when teams cut inside on Gusto, that's a problem. He doesn't defend that very well. That's where I need to see him much better. He needs to be able to show people onto their weaker foot. Every time they cut inside, they get a scoring opportunity, and sometimes they take it. So yeah, I agree with you. He needs to be better there. And, but overall, I would say, just to keep it short, I think that average above, well, I mean, the assist, but And it was a winner. It wasn't like the assist wasn't a meaningless assist. That was an assist for the winner. Yeah, I guess average is decent, just borderline average, above average kind of thing.
You saying fads?
Ooh,
Fads?
fads. Fads is cool. Let's get that.
It doesn't work for me, but at least he's trying. He's trying. But yeah, no, I agree. I agree what you guys are saying. I feel like Gusto had a good game. Not as good as Cucurella. So that's why it's kind of, do I put him in above average? There's a case for it because obviously he got the assist. Had some good moments. If you guys remember the chance that Jackson had when he tried to go around the keeper and ended up by the corner flag, like that comes from Gusto actually inverting and then playing a very good free ball, like a free ball that we would say, oh wow, that was great that Palmer did that or Enzo did that. It was Gusto that did that, and it was a very good ball. So yeah, I thought like he had some very good moments, and I was interested just to see how the dynamic would work with him and Cucurella there, because we know Gusto likes to overlap a lot and sometimes can invert. Cucurella in recent weeks has obviously just been inverting, and obviously had a bit of times that he would overlap as well. So I thought the balance was good. At times maybe they got a few combinations wrong. I think there was one time where we got caught in our build-up, which is down to Gusto, receiving the ball from Petrovic, and he didn't look as comfortable in that inverting position. But I thought overall he had some good moments in there, and it actually worked well that we had the sort of flexibility to sometimes have him start inverting or to sometimes be out wide. And obviously when he would invert, then Casado would sometimes like drop into like a right centre back kind of position and build up. I thought overall that was quite good. There were some good moments, some iffy-ish moments. But yeah, so I think overall, I think average for him is fine, to be honest. I think that's a fine rating for him. Again, he can obviously bring better, and we know that. But yeah, no, I think he had a good performance.
And we should just probably point out to the chat that we're not evaluating the season here. I know that's what the opinion. This is just for the game, specifically for the game.
Just for the game, and we're going to be doing this type of player ratings here every game next season, pretty much. And when it comes to season reviews, it will be different. It will have different names in columns and stuff you'll see, so you'll know when it's season reviews or if it's player ratings, guys. Let's move on swiftly, and I want to just put him here. Sorry, he's going straight in there, and it feels weird to even do that.
That was easy. That was easy.
To have missed so long, and come back and just stick your leg out like that, and not think you're going to get away with it. And it wasn't even like he couldn't even hide it because he literally, you could see he forcibly done it. And then now have 2 violent red cards against you there, which means you miss the first 3 games of next season when you're an important player and you're the captain of this football club. Really annoys me. Yeah. Because you shouldn't be doing shit like that, Reece James, man. And he's quality, and it's just, I don't have much more to say because he came on and didn't even see enough of him, to be quite honest with you.
Well, I mean, the thing that's most troubling about this whole thing, yeah, you said it, he's our captain, the on-field representation of the manager. And this guy's just got to have a cooler head, like he really has to have a cooler head. And when you think about the fact that he's collected 2 red cards for violent conduct, he's only played 413 minutes this season. That is startling, man. The fact that like he's got 2 violent conduct reds on 413 minutes this season as a captain for Chelsea Football Club. He's got to fix up. Like I'm not happy with that, and you guys know how I feel about him as a player. Even as a captain, you know how I feel about him. But that's unacceptable. Bottom line.
Yeah, I agree. And it's a shame because yeah, you obviously know the ability that he has, and you just want to see him fit and available on the pitch. But now you're taking those minutes away by just doing dumb shit. Point blank. Period. You're just doing dumb shit that is easily avoidable. And there's no excuse for it. All I can say is that we have seen captains in the past have a bit of a fiery streak, and whether it's the likes of a Steven Gerrard or Roy Keane, they sometimes will get needless red cards. Again, we saw our greatest ever captain, John Terry, do it in a Champions League semi-final when he what did he do? He flipping kneed Sanchez in the back and got red carded and left us really in the shit against prime Barcelona at the Nou Camp. Like, so we've seen people do that, and that doesn't of course excuse what he did. He just needs to improve. He just needs to cut that out of his game because, again, we know that he's got that something to him. He's an enigma, and it's not normal to have that at a right back. But fortunately, he's still quite good defensively. He still needs to maybe lock in a bit more defensively and be a bit more focused at times. Of course, he's nowhere near as bad as a Trent, let's say. But I think there has been a bit of that swagger to his game where like he's kind of like, I feel like some defenders it's cool when they show that they're very good at defending, but sometimes you don't want to overdo it because then you can leave yourself a bit open. But Of course, with him, it's fine because he's good defensively, but then offensively, he offers so much. So we just need to see this guy fit on the pitch and not freaking suspended. But yeah, it's all I can say just to this point is that obviously with Gusto, we know that he has injury problems as well. So another reason why it's good to keep Chalobah is because he can at least fill in that right back and do a job there if Reece is injured and Gusto is injured at the same time. Because clearly Reece is going to have these kind of issues with staying available.
For sure.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Chalobah offers versatility, and that's a big reason why we should keep him in the team. And he can play that role better than others, just about. I mean, it's not great. It's not to a great level, but it's to a level where you can get through it, right?
You know higher to a Desarty level. That's the most important thing for me. Ain't trying to see that.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go straight up with Moises Caicedo. I was gonna put him cold, but I'm gonna put him average because I just think he's been awesome for a while. I really do, and I think like people go, yeah, because he's not got Enzo next to him. No, it's nothing to do with that. There's nothing to do with that, has it? Really, truly, you know, it's more about the little tweak in the system. Kukura being more closer to him it gives him an option when he receives the ball. Even him in himself, if you watched yesterday, he dropped into a back three, playing off the right at moments.
It's just reading off of each other, right? He just reads off of each other.
Reading off, but it's more of now with Caicedo for me. And this will go back to what Couch's been saying about time. He's understanding the system. He's understanding what is required, where he needs to be. Up and down. And forgetting the system element now, and we talk about the player specifically, he's quality. Tackle him, block him, play him quick balls, and he can play a ball, by the way. You know, getting us on a quick transition. He has a lot of talent, guys. A lot of talent. And you can see that he might not be 100 and odd million in any people's eyes, but in the long run, it could be worth every penny just from his talent. Because he is, without him in the team, I'm telling you now, would be even worse. 10 times worse without him. For me, above average, very good. Dealt with the Brighton crowd booing him. You know, with his, as Don was saying, his Cisco looking style yesterday with his white hair. You know, he's just a baller. Like for me, he's just a plain baller. But yeah, go on, Cal.
Nah, I don't really have much more to say. I don't think that he was above average. I thought he was pretty much average. He was good. He was good, but I've seen him better. You know, wasn't really winning a lot of tackles in the midfield. Wasn't really all about the pitch, but you know, in possession of the football, I thought he was excellent. So that's kind of why I give him average, because I thought that, you know, on both ends of the pitch, he wasn't exceptional. I thought he was exceptional in possession, but not so much defensively. But with that said, everything you said is right. You know, this guy is an exceptional football player. He is unbelievable. Like, I don't think that we even scratched the surface as far as how good this guy can and will be for us. You know, we haven't even really scratched it. I think once we get somebody who can sit next to him, a la Lavia, and liberate him a little bit more in that midfield, I think that that's when you're going to start seeing the best of him. You know, not quite a Conte, not quite, you know, an Essien type, different in his application, nicer on the ball, but certainly a guy that you can, you know, start seeing the semblance for a midfield. You know, building a midfield around him. You know, like he can certainly be that guy for you. But yeah, I would have said average, but you know, I'm not gonna hate on above average, because his overall play the last, you know, 4 or 5 weeks or whatever it is, probably even longer than that, has been incredible. So I can understand why we can say he's been above average in a game that, you know, he didn't really do that much.
You
got us muted over here, man. Let's go.
I can hear you. Like, I'm just trying to work in the background, so I just got to mute when you lot are talking. But yeah.
So you're not listening? Is that what's going on? You're not listening to what I'm saying?
I'm multitasking, my brother. I'm multitasking, and I hear everything you're saying.
He's waiting for me to say forward, and then go again. That's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sucking them up. I mean, the counters is looking quite healthy. But listen, no, I agree with what you said about that. I actually agree. Not his best game defensively. Didn't have to make that many, like, so you did have to make certain tackles. Like, it wasn't like he was getting bypassed, but maybe there were times where you want to see him maybe put in a foot in more, because him winning the ball back opens up the transition. You have a team that are as open and as open and attacking minded as Brighton. But so yeah, in that sense, he was just okay-ish, I guess, off the ball. But I thought on the ball, he was definitely above average. And in general, recently, he's been cold on the ball. Some of his decisions in terms of passing like through the line, his ability to play against the press is just so good, and that's where he's different to a Kante for sure. In this aspect, where like he's so brave and intelligent, like you said, on the ball in terms of how he receives the passes and then able to like drive at time, pick out the right passes. But he's just so brave, and that's the main thing. He's just so brave. He will do things that other players aren't willing to do. I think some of his passes yesterday as well, like even the one to Jackson where Jackson goes through on goal and then I think the keeper clears him out and ends up being a yellow, which is arguably could have been a red. But yeah, he just got that in his locker. He's got so much to his bag that I'm looking at it now and I'm thinking, cool, we have Lavia there who can play DM, and maybe other players can go and be a DM. But I was of the belief that you need to have like a 6 foot plus DM to be a title winning team, because we've seen it through the past. I think almost every single team that's won a league had that sort of like 6 foot main DM there, whether it was Matic, whether it was Rodri nowadays. Back in the day, you look at your Vieiras, like a Roy Keane, Joe Nobi Mikel for us as well. I think maybe the only time it hasn't been the pardon.
I said, don't forget about Makalele as well.
Makalele, yeah. And to be fair, he wasn't 6 foot, so obviously he's definitely like a set destroyer. And obviously, like again, it was the Makalele role for a reason. We know what his capabilities were as a DM. But yeah, like I actually just feel now that Caicedo is actually good enough to be the DM. Yeah, and if you have the right system around him, and obviously you make up for the lack of height, because obviously we're not the tallest team, and we certainly need that. But I just feel like he's that good that he could do that for us in a team that's set up to win league titles, and of course scores enough goals, is good enough offensively. Like he can be that linchpin in the midfield alongside whether it's Enzo or whether it's somebody else to do that job. I think Caicedo is that good, so I'm happy with his form of recent. Couldn't really ask for too much more. And I'm just excited to see how it's going to look next season with, again, maybe Enzo back in there. In fact, it should be Enzo. We know it's going to be Enzo back in there, and to see how it works, because obviously we'll get on to Gallagher. In fact, let's just move on to Gallagher now. Let's move on to Gallagher.
Go on him. Do you know what, Ads? You pick where you want him first. I'll go last this time. Where do you want him?
Definitely above average. Definitely, because I'm arguing, was he better than Caicedo? And in my head, right, looking at it, like, and it's obviously similar to how, Jem, you talk about Badia Shaw, because you see Badia Shaw sometimes be stiff and do things that you don't like. It's not necessarily that he made a mistake in the moment, it's just he does things that you don't necessarily like, which I can understand and I can agree with that he's stiff. And if you look at someone like Gallagher, there's a lot of things that I don't like seeing midfielders do, whether it's just not take the ball under half so that you can open up and be progressive. Sometimes he'll just take the ball, not look over his shoulder, know that he has time to take an extra touch. He'll just play it back first time, and it just kills an opportunity to be progressive. So he does things like that, which I don't like. But people saying that he didn't have a great game or whatever, this, that, and the third. And I will say now that he didn't make a lot of tackles, or it wasn't like him pressing a lot that was getting us a lot of turnovers. He didn't have that kind of game. But I thought he had a very good game on the ball. He again had some good passes that led to some good attacks. But I think defensively, like, people underrate how important he is for us defensively. But there's times where he's the one clearing crosses out from corners, like getting the first head to the ball. There's one time when he bailed out Noni Madueke early in the first half, where Noni sleeps at the back post, and he's the one who fills in, heads it out, and then has a moan at Noni for actually letting his man go there. And like things like that Gallagher does. Managers, especially modern day managers, they love these kind of things. And it's things that aren't sexy. They're not gonna go on a comp reel on Twitter. Like, these things won't happen. But for me, Gallagher does a lot of things that I have to say I respect and I rate and I appreciate. And yeah, I think yesterday he was above average. I am open to the idea of him staying if it still means that we can get the targets that I want, because I feel like in the right system he can be a good squad player for us, and somebody that can come in and have a run in the team and be a starter. But then also I know that there's players who have more quality, and I feel like we can all agree on that. But again, similar to a Chalobah, but I think slightly better. You want players who know what it means to play for this club, and he's shown leadership skills, which is good. And yeah, almost like yesterday, you can't really be mad at. But he had a very good performance.
Yeah, I agree. It just consistently a guy that will always put the effort in, and I don't understand why that's something that why that becomes a stick that you can beat him with. You know, like, this guy consistently gives you 7, 8 out of 10 in terms of like the effort on the pitch. Granted, he's not necessarily the guy that you want in that number. Look at this guy laughing already. He already knows, like you know how I feel about Gal Dog, man. So just allow it, man. All right, like just let Gal Dog live, man. All right, but yeah, he's not the guy that you want on the ball in the final third, because I just don't think that he's on the wavelength of the players that we've assembled. But in terms of like providing the team with balance, in terms of, you know, being a guy that will always give you the minimum requirements in terms of effort and energy, he's a useful piece. He is a useful piece, you know. I still think that he's best to be, you know, used as a squad player, a guy that can come on, you know, 30, 40 minutes and give you, you know, just, you know, see out a match for you and whatnot, rather than be the guy that you're looking to provide players with the bullets to finish. He's just not that kind of player. But there's no denying that this guy's a useful player, and I don't get the logic where just because he's not the most aesthetically pleasing that he has no use in the side. I never understood that about, you know, the takes that have been given to this guy. Yesterday, I thought like his touches were actually quite good. He had some really, really good touches in important areas. And for me, you know, like as much as he's not making that incisive pass to like split through defenses and whatnot, he's keeping things ticking over. He's at least, you know, attracting defenders to the ball, and then like, you know, obviously recycling the possession quite well. But, you know, yeah, I don't want to say too much about this guy, because I don't want people to think that he's my guy or anything like that, because that's kind of been like the impression for some time now, that like I'm a Gal Dog guy. I just like guys that fight for the badge, and I feel like his effort that he puts on the pitch, and his commitment, and the fact that he's an ever-present, the fact that he's always healthy, is something that you want, and especially in a side like Chelsea. So yeah, I don't know above average, but yeah, average for me.
If Jem gets to the side and we know where he's gonna put him, you know.
I would say he's average yesterday, personally.
Ding 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 ding.
I think the midfield was wide open most of the game. I don't really understand, and I don't really blame him too much about it, because he's filling in a role at the moment. But I don't really understand the instruction for that player in that position, that next to Caicedo, whether it's Enzo or Gallagher. I just don't understand it, because on the ball, you know, yeah, pigging the balls around, good, neat touches, pass the ball well, I agree, and whatever. When we lose the ball and the opposition transition quick, the gaps, especially in the first half, the gaps between Caicedo and the others, especially in midfield, Gallagher, it's just ridiculous still. And I don't think, listen, I could be wrong, but through a 38-game season, I still think that's going to be one of our biggest problems if we continue playing in this type of system. But this is just my opinion.
What do you mean, though? Explain what you mean by that.
I don't understand how a 6 that sits next to Caicedo, evidently off the ball, evidently on the ball, which fine is higher up the pitch, but once we're out of possession, is so far away from the 6 they're meant to be playing next to. I don't get the spaces, the amount of space that's always left when we're being countered on, or you know, even when we're not being countered and we're trying to move forward with the ball, and maybe like Gallagher carries it and he's, you know, the 30 plays, and in the first half, like I'll give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
He was playing more like Cole Palmer role. Like,
so
I felt like
210s?
Yeah, like 210s. That's what it felt like for me watching the game.
So like more like a 4-1-4-1 kind of thing.
Yeah. And I listen. I think that's what Poch wants to do. He wants one of the midfielders to be very progressive, further up the pitch, helping to like sort of break down the team at the other end of the pitch. And I get that. It's just, I just don't like it too much when that ball doesn't find its where it needs to go, and then bang, you know, and then we're sort of scrambling around and it goes out to the wing, and then Caicedo's having to run across and cover a space. But then I'm looking in the midfield, and there's no one there, and I'm like, shit. Like, do you get what I mean? And I still
100%. I agree with you 100%. I wonder
if that makes sense, and go, it's his fault, because it's not his fault.
this goes back to what I was saying. I don't understand the instruction. It's not. I don't think it helps Caicedo.
There's no
massively.
balance.
There's no
I
balance.
think,
Yeah, like I can't. Yeah, like it's.
I agree with you, and I said that. I've been saying that for the whole season too. I think that like we've been so gung ho on being a possession based team on the front foot, like thrusting bodies forward, that we don't like our defensive structures is still not there. You know, like when we get caught out in transition way too often, and it's mainly because we push too many bodies forward. And then when we're asked to sit and just be like soak up pressure and like, you know, just be solid, we don't have the personnel to really like snuff out danger. Like I don't think that we have anyone that really, and even when like you would think that if you're playing that way, you're playing aggressive, high up the pitch, and you know, you're putting a lot of pressure in the final third, you would think that if you lose possession, you have guys hunting the ball to win it back. We don't do that very well. We do not do that very well. And like that's a position where you expect Gallagher to spearhead that whole like sequence and whatnot. And we just don't do that very well. You know, it might be down to partly like fatigue or, you know, like you can't always ask guys to press, but ultimately that is where the Achilles heel is for me.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And I'm not trying to get a shovel and smash Gallagher in the head on it again and say it's all his fault. It's not the point. It's just whether it's Enzo or Gallagher, I just think it's a role that doesn't suit this player and it doesn't suit the balance of what we're trying to do. And I just feel if there's any vulnerable part to that system, a big part of the vulnerability element of where we do get caught out is that bit. Like it just doesn't seem to have like. Does it change when Lavia comes in? That's my question.
Well, I think it will be Caicedo that plays that role, and he has a bit more of that freedom to join the attack because we do use that role to then get.
Would you see Caicedo, for example, Ads playing in that further 10 role like Gallagher was in the first half next to Cole Palmer? I don't think so. I think it would be more of an 8 in and back, if that makes sense. But with Gallagher, I felt like it was more, you're not really a pivot, but you're going to play there when we're out of the ball, which is what we want you to do. We want you to put all of your work rate in, which you're good at doing, getting up the pitch and being a 10. But you've also got to make sure that you're, you know, back in the 6th role when we're out of position. And I think it's just a lot. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah, no, I hear you. But this is why I say that Caicedo, for me, I'm happy to see him be the DM because people say that he's like naturally a ball winning midfield roamer. Like he can like go and attack spaces. Let's say like a bit more like a Ramirez or whatever, right? Like he can like go and attack spaces a bit more and like have that freedom of knowing there's somebody sitting behind him. But I feel like if Caicedo was in that role, he would try and do the things Gallagher's doing. But maybe not as tactically ill-disciplined, right? Because they're gonna send a little message a little screenshot in the chat.
I just see it.
The people that unfortunately people that are listening can't watch it. And it was just an instance where, like, obviously we have our 4-4-2, but Gallagher's kind of ahead of Caicedo because as we attack, he's obviously trying to get in the same line as Palmer. But then we lose the ball and he goes and presses the keeper, and he ends up pressing ahead of Jackson and Palmer. And eventually they play out and they get through us, and obviously Caicedo is where on that island by himself in midfield. I feel like certainly times like that happen where we'll leave ourselves exposed. I think that's sort of like the risk and reward of how we play, but also then we need to have this sort of tactical intelligence just to realize, okay, I'm not going to press the keeper when I'm the DM. Or if I'm going to do that, then I make sure somebody behind me is covering my position because then it leaves us wide open in the middle, which is right that you said that because we were open in the midfield a lot of occasions. And I think that is part of the system. And I think we've been helped in recent weeks by having Cucurella in so that Caicedo isn't always on an island and we have maybe, let's say, like somebody there in close proximity to win the ball back if you lose it in midfield, which is good. But I think the benefit of having a Gallagher over Enzo, which is obviously the bit that's going rampant right now in the Chelsea fan base, is that Gallagher has more legs and it gives us a bit more protection in midfield because Enzo's legs haven't been the greatest this season.
I don't really see that though in that role.
No, but I feel like it's quite clear.
What happened there?
Energy that
is he gone?
That I'm back. So I had a call, but I'm back here. No, I think it's clear to see that Enzo hasn't got the same legs as Gallagher. Now I don't think Enzo is as bad as people make it out, and he's not as bad as what we saw against Arsenal, right? Because the Arsenal game, we know that he's been with a big injury and he's had to do that a lot of this season. So I don't think he's as bad off the ball as people make it out. And certainly Gallagher offers us more of that. So I feel like when Enzo comes back into the team, which he will do, he needs to be at the best of his ability physically. Like he needs to put in a lot of hard work over the summer to cover the yards in midfield.
I don't feel the role that they're asked to play next to Caicedo. Like I get the legs thing with Gallagher. He's a hard worker. We know that. I get all that, but especially in the first half, I don't feel like it looks so much different than when Enzo plays there. in terms of having to get back into that space and cover it. Like I still see that massive space. Does that make sense? You get what I'm saying?
You know,
Like,
that's true. I feel like Enzo coming in, and I've said this before, that Enzo,
Yeah.
let's say Enzo was fully fit and playing where Gallagher is, if he wouldn't offer as much running and legs and covering. And I feel like one thing Gallagher did well at times was cover the left back area at times. I feel like maybe Enzo wouldn't be as good at doing that, but overall,
Maybe.
no, I feel like the game wouldn't be as, like, people make it out of Enzo's as athletic as it is as athletic as Jorginho was, and obviously
No, it's not.
he's got way more legs. And come on, I saw this guy for Benfica and Argentina put shifts in on a regular basis. This guy can work. This guy can move. And we saw it even at the Etihad, where we saw him put in a really good shift off the ball. He's just not been consistent doing that, and he needs to improve in doing that as he gets more experience in the league. Yeah, that too. He's been injured, which again is the caveat that I made earlier, but he also needs to get better at doing that period. If there's going to be a midfield of him and Caicedo.
I feel sorry for Madrid because he didn't really play too much. He played, but he's like, I don't know. Where do you want to put him? Should we just put him in average for now?
I'd probably
Average.
put him in
Average. He didn't do anything, man.
I'd probably
All right.
put him in
4. All right, cool.
I mean, it's unfair because of like how how little we got to play, and obviously the elbow by Lamptey was crazy. Like, that's some shit straight out of the UFC, right? Like,
I'm putting him average, man.
I don't want a red was crazy. I think that's fine. You can put him in average. I think that's okay because it's hard to really judge him based on what we saw.
There should just be an NA. Like, you can't really judge him. Right?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. It's true. We can't really judge him. However, I want to use this to parlay into the conversation with Nkunku, who came on for him, and it was night and day for me, the difference, because yes, you can't really judge Modric based on the little that we saw. However, like what we did see in those 20 minutes was at times his first touch letting him down and not being great. And it's like the difference when Nkunku came on and his first touches, it was just different ball game, a completely different ball game. The pitches that would open up, the space that he would be able to drive into. This guy is a top level operator, and a lot of people are talking about Bundesliga types, blah blah blah. He's not a baller. That listen, this guy is quality. I was saying at the start of the season, he is our best player, but as good as Palmer's been, I would still stand by he's probably still our best player, and he's going to be our most important player because he's the one who's going to put the ball in the back of the net more than anybody else. I think he's just that guy. He's clinical in the final third. He plays the game at his tempo, and he's okay. Like we saw with the goal, he gets it on the left, and he has the opportunity maybe to drive at his man or do something different, but he slows the game down. He keeps us ticking. And eventually the ball gets around, and then he obviously makes a great run in to score. And I feel like stuff like that, he can do a lot from that left wing position. And that's why I've always said him as a 9, not for me. Maybe in certain games, if we're playing against a certain team, that, like let's say like a City, you want to like have an extra midfield body, cool. But for me, I want this guy off the left. He can be involved in the game because people forget he used to be a midfielder. This guy can link up very well. He can make very good passes. He can drive with the ball as well, but he can finish. And he can make the right decision in the final third. So yeah, he deserves to be in too cold because with what he did on the ball, he was too cold. All I can say is just off the ball, if he is going to play left wing long term, he just needs to do a bit more defensively to cover because again, a big part of why Lamptey and Adingra was getting so much space is because whether it was Modric and also him especially, like they don't track that, they don't cut the pass lane enough to help support the left back. But I mean, other than that, this guy is top. And I think that changes. I think he's our best player, to be honest. I think
that changes when we have a 3 in midfield ads. If you had like Alavia, Caicedo, Enzo, him off the left with Palmer on the right and say Jackson up front, you don't need him to track back as much. You want him to be further up the pitch.
But then he could be like the Salah for us off the ball, where he's not asked to do as much defensively, which is true.
Yeah, which I think would be. Listen, I'll be really short and sweet with him. For me, if he stayed fit most of the season, him and Palmer would be our best players by a mile. They both got this, like, they play the game at their speed. Literally it. Like when players play the game at their speed, there's not many that can do that. And that's how you can see the difference in quality in terms of what you do have and then what you have that comes on off the bench, like i.e. he has because he's been injured. And it's just like we never used our left that much. We used our left a lot yesterday when he came on, a lot. Do you know what I mean? And he was skipping around players. He's control. He's balance. He's read. You know what it is? He's just reading and understanding. He's experienced. He's experienced, man. In that final third, he knows where to be, what to do. If Jackson's there and Palmer's over behind him, he's attacking that other space. Like he doesn't do the annoying little things that I've seen in the past, where with some of our players, where we just run into the same spaces. He's not that type of player. He will occupy other spaces to be effective. And when someone can do that, like we saw yesterday, where he lost Lamptey, put him on the floor completely, went to go in and went in the other way, inverted. You know, he's always going to be effective. And in front of goal, this guy is a killer. It's not like he can't finish. He finishes. Like, he just finishes. It's just straight up Nkunku, isn't it? Like, he's just so confident in his own ability, and you see it. Like, you know, when you see players that just know they're just that player. Like, Cole Palmer's like it, Nkunku's like it, but Nkunku can back it up as much as Cole Palmer for me, and he's just top class, man.
I mean, my ego is just like through the roof today. I'm not gonna lie, it's through the roof right now, guys. I've been talking about Nkunku for about 3 years now, wanting to have him in this side, wanting to be a part of the team. And I remember when I first mentioned his name, this was probably on Lewis's stream. Guys are like, well, you're gonna buy Nkunku after 1 year, one decent year. I'm like, you don't have to. It's not about the year. It's about, like, look at him on the pitch. Look what he does.
Yeah.
Look at his touches. Look at the goals he scores. You know, and I was like, "Oh, you're gonna spend 80 million on Nkunku?" Yes, I would. Absolutely, I would. You know, like, obviously the injuries don't help, but this guy is class. I'm talking top class. Movement, you know, finishing, link up, you know, even just the awareness, like where you need to be on he has the lot. Okay, he has the lot. The only thing that's gonna impede him from being, you know, an absolute stud for us is just injuries. You know, he has to stay healthy. You know, no more of this, like, come back, play a couple games and get injured again, then gone for a couple more months.
We need him.
You know, we absolutely need this guy to stay healthy, you know, and that's the only thing that's going to impede him, I think. But outside of that, this guy is top class. And, you know, he showed, like, there was a comp. I think AJ put a comp in the chat yesterday, and it was a shit comp. I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't anything crazy, but, like, it was shit. Like, the guy just kept, like, anyways, doesn't matter. But when you look at some of the touches that he had and, like, the effortlessness that he plays with, it just leaves you feeling like you have a player who, if given the opportunities to get on the pitch, play regularly, he's just going to be a difference maker for us. And then you couple that with, of course, like you said, Jem, the Cole Palmers, you know, the Reece Jameses, like all these guys coming together and playing at that level and being on the same wavelength at the same time. You know, next year is going to be our year. I'm not going to say that we're going to be challenging for the title, but we will certainly be in the conversation.
As long as they stay fit and they can, and I'm looking forward to the days where we actually have them actually all fully fit. We're like, I don't know, semi through the season, and we're up against, I don't know, Liverpool away or Arsenal, and we've got this team. I want to see. I want to see how it goes. You got maybe Lavia fit, and you got Reece James on the right. You got Nkunku up there. You know, Jackson, whoever, like Cole Palmer doing his thing. Like, it's going to be, especially when more and more they play with each other as well. You've got to bear in mind, they're not playing with each other that much yet, and they're playing like this. Wait till they actually are playing 10, 15 games back to back with each other all the time, you know? And yeah, it's only, like, for me, Cole Palmer's going to have a lot more assists with Nkunku next to him. A lot more.
For sure.
Right.
For sure. I mean, as long as he takes the opportunity to pass it to him, like, because there's a few opportunities where there's a couple times yesterday where I was like, "What are you doing? Like, this, just pass it into space and we're in." You know, like, like, I think he's taken the mantle of being the talisman for us, and I think sometimes he forgets that he has other players on the pitch that can be just as effective if given the opportunities. So
you can see it.
You know, like, it's not selfish. It's just like we've been depending on him so heavily for so long that, you know, sometimes you lose sight of the fact that you have other players that can also be, you know, critical for us.
Yeah. 100%. Well, that leads us on to Cole Palmer. I'm going to put him in Bozo.
Come on, dog. Come on, man. Come on.
He's just cold, isn't he? Is he just cold? Yeah. I mean, look. He's, again, with him, like, Joe is, he's just effortless, isn't it? Like, he's passing yesterday. Like, sometimes it doesn't even look like he kicks the ball properly, but he just goes to where it needs to go. It's so weird. Like, he's just he's loving that 10 role. Number one, that 10 role he's growing in it. He receives the ball, he's finding passes in behind, he's arriving in the box. You saw it for his goal. He's getting even better at that. He's arriving in the box from, you know, to be effective is another thing. The one thing we used to cry about the most in anything is how we used to create and get to the wings and you have one player in the box. Not no more. Not no more. 2, 3, maybe even 4 in and around the box once we work our way up the pitch, you know, and he's one of them. And this is why we've scored a lot of goals this season, because we transit, you know, in the final third, the group of players that we've got now compared to what we had the year before and 2 seasons, should we say, completely different. There's a chemistry there. And then there's one player that's very special, or two with Nkunku, and then you've got the Mudriks and the Maduekis, but they all have this different type of ability, and it's sort of just amalgamating them together to make it work. We didn't have that with Havertz, Mount, fucking Ziyech. It was just chalk and cheese.
What a shit team that was, man. Holy.
Yeah.
That was a shit team.
Yeah, the glow up in the attack is crazy. That was Miles player that team.
Yeah. Jackson's a big part of it as well because of the way he plays the game as well, So it's just a better overall forward line. Let's be serious. It just is. It is. For me, he's cold. He's always cold. He's up there. He scored a great header. Nothing to say, really.
Yeah, there isn't too much really to say. Again, I'm just happy that we bought him, even if we overpaid at the time, because it was a lot for someone who doesn't have that much senior experience. Most of the experience was from watching him at youth level. And fortunately, I watched a lot of those games, especially for Noni, because he was a Chelsea player at the time. And Palmer always stood up, and I just felt like this guy is top. And even how we started the season with City, scoring in the Community Shield, scoring in the Super Cup final, you can see this guy is better than what they were allowing him to show. And now he's showing us everything, and it's even better than what I thought he could be here. So it's just a pleasure to see it. He's thriving in this 10 role. I think you could make the argument that he's more effective off the right because he maybe can get more touches under less pressure, but I think he's fine in the 10. I like him in the 10. He's had some very, very good games in the 10, including yesterday. But he's very good again. Scored, could have had more, could have had some assists as well. But overall, just a top player. And I'm liking how this team is shaping up because we're going to get onto the right wing conversation in a bit. And Couch brought something reminded me of something that I was thinking about a while ago. And it's like, you know what? I wasn't as keen on it, but looking at how the team is now and looking at how Palmer is in the 10, I'm fully on board with us signing a certain winger in the summer. But yeah, Palmer again, he's doing what he does, bro. He's a top player. He's one of the best players in Europe this season. Bro. You're on mute. You're on mute, Jem. Wait, you're on mute, Jem.
Yeah. Saying let's move to it. Let's move to Madueke because I ain't got a lot of time anyway. So let's move to Madueke and talk about his performance yesterday because there's not much more to say about Cole Palmer. It's just Cole Palmer at the moment. But go on then. What we saying? Because I was Bozo. No,
he was good. He was good, which I'll put in average. Yeah. I would say he was average. I think for me, right, with Noni, I feel like it was a good game for Noni. It wasn't like his usual, like, I'm gonna go run at players and have a lot of take-ons. It wasn't that game of Noni, but I thought it was still good because he linked up better today than he did against Forest, which was good. Yeah. He linked up well. Obviously, got the pre-assist for the Nkunku goal. Use Gusto on the overlap at well. Use Gusto on the overlap well at times. The other times he cut in and had a shot or ran into traffic and it was not the greatest, but I would say he was average and he was good. He was good. All right, defensively as well, but I feel like there's just upgrades that we can make in that position. And I'm going to just now throw it over to Couch to speak on.
Yeah, I mean, he's a young footballer, man, still trying to find his way. And for me, he's just not all the way refined. I don't think that his head's always in the game the way I need him to be engaged. I think yesterday was a good example of that. But I mean, he's got quality. He's a guy that can certainly give you good minutes, over time. But I don't want to say it. I know where you're going at. Now you got me doing it, Jem. You see that? I know you're going with it forward. Oh no, I got it right. You see, there you go.
You had it right, and then you got it wrong. So that's another fiver.
Yeah. You see, I got myself all mixed up here. But for what you need out there, if you're gonna put Palmer in the 10, out wide, I think you need somebody that's a little bit more of a tactician, a guy that can think the game, a guy that can be your offensive Well, you know who I've been saying this guy for how long? You guys know how I feel about Olise. I think that he'd be fantastic on that right side for us. Well, I don't know. Maybe. We said that about Lavia when I was like, we need Lavia. I was like, no, we don't need him. We got Santos, or I don't even remember who we were talking about then. But yeah, we can use a guy like Olise on the right, not only because of his he's a guy that can be like the number 10 out wide, but he's also a guy that can score goals for you. He's also a guy that can be the hub of your attack. He alleviates the burden from so many other players, and he does things that are different to the guys that we have on the pitch right now. I think that the problem that we've had with recruitment the last little while, and maybe not because we didn't outline the right players. Because, like, again, we did have Olise and we wanted Olise. And there's a few other names that were, bandied about that would have probably been a little bit more complimentary. But as is right now, I feel like we have a lot of similar players, guys that like to do the exact same things in the final third. The Reece Jameses, the Maduekes, the Mudricks, all these guys like to go out and attack 1v1 and don't really look to play players in, don't really look to, cut in and look for options there and whatnot. So, anyways, I know we're talking about Madueke right now, and I don't want to be too long-winded about him. I thought he was average, but I don't expect a lot more from him given what he is as a player right now. I think that he can give you great performances, but for the most part, he's still a player that is emerging and learning what his best suit is within this particular structure. And sometimes I think that when he doesn't get a touch and then it comes to him, he's trying to do too much with the ball. And that's exactly what you don't want from, a player that's playing out wide. Just get the touch, release it into space, and then get yourself into a better position. That's what we need from you. And he just doesn't do that enough.
Yeah, I like Madueke. I just think he can be, and this again, just where he's very young, and I'm going to give him time, obviously. I just think sometimes he has a bit of a bozo brain sometimes.
For sure.
I would just say he has brain farts. I think that's a better way to put it.
He has brain farts. Yeah, he says brain farts. And I mean, they all do. They're young. I get that. But sometimes I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, he was attacking the box yesterday in the first half, right? We've managed to break through their midfield. We're running directly at him. We had more numbers than they had with the defense that were there. He's running. He's got Gallagher to his left, I think it was, and then obviously Jackson in the box, Mudryk on just behind him. There was someone else there as well. I can't think. Anyway, he had so many people that he could have picked off, and he held the ball. By the time we could have actually done something, they had managed to all get back. So we ended up going backwards. And he done the same thing with Nkunku in the second half, where Nkunku's going like this to him. He's waiting for it. And he gets the ball from the right. He cuts inside, holds it. By the time he's going to do anything with it, there's a wall in front of him. All he had to do was take the touch and just lay it off to Nkunku, and he could have just took the shot. And it's there's little things. I'm just like, what are you doing? You don't need to if you can't. I know you're trying to create a bit of space for yourself to take a shot or something, but sometimes you just don't need to do it, and that's what he needs to learn: when to and not when to. He needs to get that understanding better for me, and he's good at taking players on. We know that he's got speed, he's aggressive, he's strong, he's direct. I like all that about him. He's just sometimes when in the final third, I'm just a bit like, what's he going to do? I'm not confident in him. As with a technician like Olise, and I'll give Couch this. He gets in the box, you know exactly what he's going to do most of the time.
100%.
He makes the right decision. That's the difference. He makes the right decision in them moments. Madueke doesn't always, for me, make the right decisions in them moments. Big difference between the two of them, But
and just to say this before we move on to Jackson as well, that you can buy young players like Olise, because Olise is still relatively young, but you can buy young players, but they just have more. They're just more polished. They're just more ready for this level, and they will still need time to improve. But the base level that they bring you from day one is higher than what Mudryk and Noni bring. And listen, Noni's improved and he's had his run in the team and he's looking like he can maybe cut it at this level in terms of being a good Chelsea squad player. But for me to start next season on the wing, no, I'm looking to improve that position. And obviously on the left, we already got Nkunku who can play that. That's cool. But if you're telling me we have Nkunku, Palmer in the 10, and then Olise on the right behind the striker, that is cooking. That is prime time cooking. And the amount of goals that we're going to score next season, if that's the three, boy, hey, we could be back, we could be back. We could be back to something serious, honestly. I'm not saying league titles, I'm just saying we could be back to being Chelsea are a serious team.
Respectable, for sure.
Yeah, yes.
What are we doing with Jackson, guys? Was it just a standard Jackson performance where he does well off with the ball deep and links to play, or is it just
average?
Wasteful Jackson? Is it a good Jackson? Yeah, I would probably say average as well, to be fair.
Yeah, I think that for him, the problems that I had with his game is the problems that I always have with this game. Just holds on to the ball a little bit too long. There's a time where he could have released Nkunku into space. We're breaking, and he just held it too long, and then the opportunity's gone. Or, you know, like he's not judging. You know, he's been better at it like as the season's gone on, but like the offsides were, you know, where they were a problem in the first half of the season. He's gotten better now, but even yesterday, again, just not judging when he needs to go. You know, not on the same wavelength as the team. So yeah, you know, I like him as a player. I think that he's had a solid season, as I said before. He scored yesterday too, right? I didn't see the goal itself, but I know he didn't. But wasn't it like chalked off or something?
Yeah, he scored a header, but it was chalked up for a
Header.
push.
It was a good header, to be fair to him. Not a lie. But it was
Yeah.
just a
So he's doing the right things right now, but there's still that little bit where, you know, you want him to just like be a little bit more sharp in his decision making in the final third. You know, like
I agree.
make the right decision at the right moment and not wait, hold on to the ball and then the opportunity's gone. That's the only thing
Feel like
that's
Matt
lacking
Brady.
right now as far as same, exactly.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that's a perfect analogy for me of him. Like, I think what he does holding the ball, carrying the ball. Yesterday he done something really good. He was like, he came really deep, went to the right hand side, picked the ball up. I think skinned the midfielder and then opened the game up completely. It was just running. He got a free kick from it, actually. I think Palmer hit the ball. You know, little things like that. I'm like, I like it, Jackson. But once you get yourself into that position and there's players making runs in front of you, like Couch said, look for it, find it. But he looks down. The one thing I noticed of him a lot, he looks down a lot. He's always looking down. You know, like that's the one thing I noticed about him. He's not like, it's all right looking down, but it's also having the eye to know what everything's going on around you at the same time, so that if you need to make that quick thing, you do it. And I don't feel like he's got that yet. I'm not saying he has, like he can't get it. I don't think he's got that yet. Maybe.
That's good. Like I want to keep harping on Elise, but that's exactly why I like that guy. Like he's always got his head up. He's looking around. He's surveying the pitch. You know, and he's looking for players that are in better positions than him all constantly. You know, whereas I think, as you say with Jackson, like he's always got his head down, and then when he picks it up, it's too late. You know, it's just way too late.
100%.
Yeah, your mic sounds a little bit. Yeah, your mic sounds a little bit far, by the way, Coach. But yeah, no, I agree.
I think I know what it is. Sorry.
Yeah, it sounds a little bit even better now, actually. But yeah, on Jackson, I haven't got too much to say. You guys know I like him. I'd actually probably put him in poor, despite agreeing with everything that you guys said. I would probably still put him in poor just because he done a lot of Jackson things, which is cool. Like there were some times where he picked up the ball and drove into space, which was good. So at times the link up was good, the hold up was good, but like he could have actually had a hat trick yesterday, if we're honest. Like the time when he went around the keeper, that was a very poor first touch. Where like that should really be another assist for Gusto. Then there was the goal which he was chalked off, and I feel like if he's a bit cute of how he pushes Lamptey, like you can just put the arm there to frame. Like if you just frame your arm and you don't push, you have the space. Lamptey can't like.
He's so small
put his back. Yeah, like you just frame off and you get the headers the same, and then it's a goal. And then there was even the one where Palmer gets the ball out wide from a Gallagher pass and he crosses it in, and then like Jackson stabs it in. Now that was a difficult chance. So I won't but that was obviously still a chance, wasn't it? But I'm not gonna say that he should have scored that. It was just a chance. But then second half where the game's a bit open, like it's looking like we need to get the second goal to kill the game. And eventually we get that second goal, right? But there's that counter attack where he's got to put the ball on a plate for Nkunku. Like it was good actually. It was actually really good play. That he got it on the right. He linked up well with Noni. He got the 1-2. You're in acres of space, and he just takes too long. And then even when he plays the pass, like he can still make the pass if you put enough power on it. But it's just powder puff. Like I'm just saying things like that. They were costing us earlier in the season. They were, and we have to be honest with that. So I feel like I will still put him in 4 just for that. It's still a good season for him ultimately, and I hope he gets his goal next week, which would make it 15 league goals, which would be a very good return on paper. But we know that it should have been a lot more. And I think for me, I'm still saying that like we need a striker. And I don't know if it's going to be Osherman. Again, I don't know if we're going to have enough money for a keeper, some other from other positions, a left back, Elise, let's say, and then Osherman. I don't know if we're going to have enough money for that, but we need somebody up there to be our number 9 next season to challenge, if not replace Jackson, because. But as good as he's been at times, for as much as I like him, we bought him for 30 odd million and we're getting that kind of return in terms of player. For being honest, the overall package, it's good, but it's not good enough, to be honest. We have to be real with that.
I agree. And you know what my thoughts are on it, and I think you've just covered it. And I've put him in poor because once you started analysing it, I remembered and it brought back me actually shouting at the TV. So Yeah, he's going down to 4. That's our match rating, our player rating for the Brighton versus Chelsea game, guys. Right there for you. Good rates. I mean, there's only 1 in Poor or 1 in Bozo, which is fair. And I think other than that, I think that's a very fair assessment of the game in terms of rating for the players. And listen, there's a good chance that we might have a match reaction on the back of the game as well, guys. I'm just waiting for confirmation. Obviously, the game's on, I think, at 3 o'clock, isn't it? I think all the games.
Yeah, all the games, yeah.
All the games are on at 3 o'clock, so there's a good chance we might see us after the game. We will be doing a match reaction. Match preview, maybe, most probably.
Let's do the match preview because I'm not gonna. I needed to use this game to get my gloat off, get my ego going again, and I'm not gonna be able to do it on Saturday because.
Well, remember, Couch, we're going to be doing after the season, guys. We're obviously going to do a season review, but the way that we're going to do it, we're going to break it down. So we're going to do a season review on the defense, season review on the midfield, the season review on the attackers, and then the season review on the manager. It's going to be all split out and categorized rather than under one show, which means it gives you more shows and it gives us more to talk about in these specific positions over that. And of course, we've got transfer window as well, so that will be in between all of that. We'll be talking in as well. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of shows going on over this period, guys. So don't worry, you'll be listening to a lot of us throughout this period and keeping you entertained as much as we can.
Sounds good.
So, guys, Ads, Couch, thank you, guys. I appreciate it as always. 2 hours and 5 minutes of the show today for you guys. We'll be back again on probably Friday for the match preview of the last game of the season against Bournemouth. We could potentially finish 5th. Still got to do what we need to do. And it looks like we might be getting Europa League football as well. So big up, guys. Talk to you in a bit. Take care. See you later.
Big ups.